What is going on? What is going on? What is going on, YouTube? I am live. I am back again. This is going to be an exciting live stream tonight. We've got an interesting, potentially very exciting main event. Oscar Valdez against Liam Wilson. And really the true main event, what should really be the main event on this card. Seniesa Estrada and Yokasta Valle for the undisputed, all of the belts being brought together, minimum weight title. So really, I think we should be in for a couple of entertaining fights. Now, the main card doesn't actually get started until 11 p.m. Eastern, which is 2 hours from now. But I figure why not get the party started early? It's 9 o'clock on the East Coast, and we have still got 2 hours to go until the start of the main card, which is airing live on ESPN+. But the undercard, and I believe airing as well on the main ESPN network also. But the undercard is definitely on the air live now on ESPN+. You can tune in. You can check that out as well. And we should be in for a good night of boxing, guys. Oscar Valdez, Liam Wilson. Oscar Valdez has certainly been in some wars recently. There's no question about that. There is some question about whether he might be a little bit shop worn at this point, a little bit past his best. He certainly took a lot of damage in his last fight against Navarrete. It was definitely a war, and now he's back at the site of the same fight. It's at the Desert Diamond Arena in Glendale, Arizona. Oscar Valdez, and he's going to be taking on Liam Wilson. And Liam Wilson, as you guys will know, came just this close to stopping Navarrete at the beginning of last year, just over a year ago, actually, and ended up losing the fight in round 9. But he's back as well, and that was also in the same arena. So for both guys, this is an arena which has got some history behind it. For Liam Wilson and for Oscar Valdez, a ton on the line in this fight for both guys. I hope you guys are enjoying your weekend so far. It is Good Friday, but it is Easter weekend. So happy early Easter to all of you as we see Oscar Valdez entering the arena here. As I say, the main event starting probably around midnight on the East Coast, about 3 hours from now. The co-main event, or arguably the main event, Seniesa Estrada, Yokasta Valle, going to be taking place around about 2 hours from now. So guys, join me. It's going to be a good evening of boxing. We've got a lot to talk about. We've got Tim Tszyu and Sebastian Fundora coming up tomorrow night as well. Super excited, not just for the main event, but for the whole card. The first card airing live on Prime Video, PBC on Prime Video pay-per-view. That's going to be an amazing card as well. You know, it's rare that there's a card that actually takes place that has pretty much 4 fights on the main card that are all going to be can't miss, all action fights. Even if you think you know the winner, even if you think that Tim Tszyu, even if you think like I do, that Tim Tszyu is probably going to get a pretty emphatic victory in this fight, Sebastian Fundora is going to bring the heat the whole time that he's in the ring. And so this one, it's going to be an exciting, fast-paced main event. You never know. You never know. You never know 100% for sure what's going to happen. And is there a chance that Fundora springs the upset? Yeah, realistically, there is a chance that that happens. And we'll see. But anyway, we've got that. And then on Easter Sunday, which admittedly, it's a weird day to have a show on, but on Easter Sunday, we have the show over in London at the O2 Arena, which is Fraser Clark against Fabio Wardley. Super excited for that card as well. We have a good fight also in the cruiserweight division on that card, which is going to be Vidal Riley against Mikhail Lual. So a good weekend of boxing coming up, guys. And I will be streaming all of it. So I'm streaming this tomorrow and Sunday as well. Hope you guys will join me. And like I say, it's going to be an exciting weekend of boxing. So right now, we are in the midst of this card on the pre-show. We just saw Richard Torres, a couple of fights back, the Olympic silver medalist in the heavyweight division, and he beat Donald Hainsworth via KO in the first round. So we just had that coming up, or rather, finishing up a few fights ago. Right now, we are in the second round of this 140-pound division fight, which is going on right now between Sanchez and Delgado. So I'll be commentating on this fight as we go on. And Adolfo Delgado and Carlos Sanchez in a 10-rounder in the 140-pound division as well. Yokasta Valle in the dressing room right now, just receiving instructions from the referee. Like I say, we're about 2 hours away from this fight. Trying to stay awake. It's 1 a.m. in the UK. Yeah, props to you for doing that. Unfortunately, it's going to be a little bit longer until the actual main events get started. But yeah, I feel you. Hopefully the fights themselves will be exciting, though. I think the fights themselves are going to be exciting. So I think if you can hang on just a little bit longer, you're going to be in for some good action tonight, I think. I'm looking forward to this one anyway. See what we get going on in a little bit. Seniesa Estrada now warming up as well. All right, so guys, here we are. Like I say, third round, Lindolfo Delgado against Carlos Sanchez. This one's in the 140-pound division. And like I say, we're in the third round here. Both guys representing Mexico in this fight. Delgado and Sanchez. Delgado and Sanchez, they're in the clinch. I'm going to be providing some commentary over the fight as well, guys, as it's going on. Fight taking place, the action taking place in the center of the ring so far. Not a lot of punches being thrown in this round. Delgado missing with a big left hook there. Sanchez firing back. Sanchez trying to walk Delgado down. But Sanchez is using angles nicely. We can see Hall of Fame promoter Bob Arum in the background there, enjoying the fight. Ooh, nice jab from Delgado. Sanchez fires back. Both guys being cautious about what shots they are selecting here. Neither guy wanting to just let his hands go completely. Both guys exchanging jabs. Body shot there lands from Sanchez. Ooh, nice body shot there from Delgado, but Sanchez fires straight back. Sanchez won that exchange, even though he got tagged below the belt. Delgado fires back with a jab. Both guys using the jab effectively here. Both guys going to the body effectively. Both guys have eaten some big body shots so far. But neither guy looks to be beat up too badly. Sanchez going to the body again, landing on the belt line of Delgado. Oh, Delgado, some big shots. He landed on the head clean of Sanchez. But Sanchez still coming forward. Delgado's on the back foot now. And he lands with a nice hook. Sanchez is walking forward, eating some shots, but he's still coming forward. And he's landing some nice body punches as well. Delgado eating some big body shots this round. Both guys in the center of the ring. Delgado trying to use his jab. Punches are being exchanged about 50-50. Neither guy really getting an overwhelming advantage. Sanchez using his jab well there. Nice straight right to the body. Jab fired back. Jabs exchange and a body shot lands from Sanchez. 10 seconds left in the round now. Ooh. Big shots landing from both guys. Big body shots exchanged at the end of the round. Both guys landing. Let's hear what Robert Garcia says in the corner. He's telling Lindolfo Delgado it was a better round, according to the translator. And it was a better round. Both guys exchanged a lot of hard shots, but neither guy looked like he was seriously hurt in there. Delgado is 19-0, by the way, in case you didn't know. Sanchez is 25-2. But Sanchez actually landed some good shots in that round, to be honest with you. How long will it think will be until Muratalla and the main event start? Jack, how you doing, Jack? So I think you're going to be looking at probably about 2 hours until the main events get started. So I think we're 2 hours. The main portion of the broadcast doesn't start for about 2 hours. So at least that's going to be Liam Wilson, Valdez, and Estrada against Valle. Muratalla, I'm not sure if that's going to be on before or after the main card starts. It might be sort of the main event of the undercard. In which case, probably that will be on. In fact, I think that will be on next, Muratalla. So I would say probably about 45 minutes away from that one. And then the other two, probably 2 hours from now. So enjoy your workout. Props for getting it done as well. So yeah, we got a bit of time until the main events get started. I appreciate that the undercard is getting started a bit. Actually, it's a really long card today. Ooh, we're in the 4th round, by the way. I'll do some commentary over the fight, and I'll finish my anecdote. Delgado and Sanchez, both in the center of the ring. Sanchez using his jab and a right to the body. Delgado doubling up on the jab. Both guys trying to take control of the center of the ring. Sanchez landing a nice, another shot to the body. Oscar Valdez warming up in the back as well, or at least getting ready in his changing room in the back. Sanchez is doing well. Landing some nice body shots. Sanchez going to the head as well. I'm not sure who the favorite was in this fight, actually, according to the odds, but Sanchez is the one who's getting the better of this round so far. Delgado just doesn't look as sharp in there. Sanchez, whenever Delgado lands, Sanchez is firing right back. Delgado gets hit clean down the pipe with a jab there. Sanchez just looks sharper. He's beating Delgado to the punch. Delgado's not looking terrible, but Sanchez is looking sharper, and Sanchez is landing with his shots more quickly. He's got more zip on his shots. Body shot lands again from Sanchez. Delgado's landing a couple of jabs as well, but Sanchez, just like I say, he looks a little bit sharper. Both guys still in the center of the ring. Jabs exchanged. 20 seconds left in round 4. Big right hand misses from Sanchez. 10 seconds left in the round now. Jab comes from Delgado. Sanchez uses some nice head movement at the end of the round. Gets out of the way of the jab. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far from Sanchez. He is, I believe he's the underdog in this fight. But he's looking good so far, to be honest with you. I think he's actually having some good rounds, and he's starting to look like if he keeps going like this, he might be able to actually pull ahead on the scorecards here and have a chance of winning this fight on the scorecards. Sneaky 100 on Liam Wilson. Yeah, I think that's an interesting bet, actually. I have to say I wasn't super impressed with Oscar Valdez in his last fight, in the sense that he looked tremendously tough. I mean, nobody can take that away from him, and he's still got power. But Navarrete managed to pretty much hit him at will with the jab. And Oscar Valdez, he also looked, if I'm being completely honest, he looked a little bit slow on his feet as well. So I'm kind of leaning towards Liam Wilson in this fight. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think that's a terrible bet at all. We're underway in round number 5 now. Sanchez going straight to the body with a jab. Delgado setting off a hook, a left hook to the head. Jab lands again from Delgado. Sanchez is having success working the body. He's alternating to the head and the body, but it's his body shots which I think are having an effect. He eats a nice jab from Delgado. Delgado lands a body shot there, and another one. But Sanchez, he just keeps coming forward. Just keeps firing straight back. Alternating to the head and the body. Delgado's trying to come forward a bit more this round. He's looking a little bit more comfortable. But Sanchez is not taking a backward step either. He's just walking straight forward, taking everything that Delgado throws, and he's firing straight back, working the body with some nice hooks. He's eating jabs in the process, but he is not taking a backward step. Delgado, though, I think he's doing a little bit better in this round than he was in the last round. Yeah. Sam Goodman, he lives about 10 minutes away from you. Big step up to Inoue. Yeah. Well, that's going to be an interesting fight. I mean, I'm going to be honest and say, I'll get to that actually in a second once I finish over this round. Delgado. Ooh, some nice shots landed from Delgado. Delgado's actually landing some big hooks now on Sanchez. Delgado is using his power effectively here. Ooh, man. Delgado landed some big shots of his own, but he's eating power and he's down. Which is a shame, really, because Sanchez has been doing well. But he's down now. It's just that power coming back from Delgado. He's coming back, though. 7 seconds left in the round. Whew, I don't know, guys. Sanchez was looking like he was in trouble there. So, returning to Sam Goodman, I mean, I saw his last fight. So, just to be clear, the Inoue fight hasn't been confirmed yet, as far as I'm aware, right? But I like Sam Goodman. I thought in his last fight, I was kind of impressed with what I saw. But I have to say, I don't know if there's anybody at the moment that I would favor over Inoue. Yeah, that was a big shot as well. But, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if there's anybody that I would favor over Inoue at this point in time. I'm going to be completely honest. But, yeah, woo. That was a big shot, guys. Sanchez did well to get up. But Delgado, he's lucky he has power in a way because he wasn't looking so hot. But his power was able to get him back into the fight. Sanchez was doing well, but that power from Delgado has turned the fight around. And so now we're in round number 6. We're in round number 6, and Sanchez, he's looking like he's recovered somewhat from that knockdown. He's still trying to walk Delgado down, but the thing he's got to be careful of now is Delgado knows he's hurt him. He knows he's knocked him down. And so I think you're seeing Delgado here not throwing just wild shots. I think he's going to pick his shots carefully and try and land something big and knock Sanchez down now that he knows that he can hurt him. Delgado, some feints going on here. Sanchez, though, he's walking forward. He's throwing his hands. If anything, it is Sanchez who's getting the better of this round so far. Nice body shot there. I don't know if Delgado, like I say, he's waiting to land a big shot. But Sanchez has actually got the volume now. Delgado looks more confident, though, than he did earlier in the fight. Delgado with the jabs, doubling up the jab. Sanchez firing back. Ooh, nice body shot. But Delgado, he looks, like I say, a lot more confident in this round compared to the last one. Misses with a big overhand right. Sanchez fires back. That was a big shot that put him down, though. Ooh, nice combinations from Sanchez. Delgado's just being patient, though. Delgado's looking to land a big shot here. Delgado is loading up on his shots a little bit more as well, and that's dropping his volume. He landed with a nice right hand on the chin. But Sanchez is landing a lot of shots of his own. Sanchez's volume hasn't really dropped even after he suffered the knockdown. You have to respect both. Oh, big shots there. Delgado, there was an exchange. Both guys landed big shots, but Sanchez got rocked just a little bit more. Delgado, you can see he's got the power advantage. Sanchez landed there 2 times clean, and the third time there with a left hook clean on the chin of Delgado, and it's not having the same effect that Delgado's shots are. Sanchez is just not as powerful, but you've got to respect the toughness of both of these guys because they are both eating some big shots. Defense could be a little bit tighter. I won't lie, but both guys are eating some big shots here, and both guys are working through some tough moments. 10 seconds left in the round now. Clinching going on the ropes. Referee's letting them fight, but the bell's going to go. Yeah. So in terms of the scorecards, I don't know where we're at with this one because Sanchez was doing well, I think, in the earlier rounds. And then there was that 10-8 round where Delgado scored the knockdown. And then that one could have probably gone either way. Probably gone either way, to be honest with you. Delgado, I think, might get it on the basis of his power punches that he landed. But Sanchez has some good shots as well. So we're about to go into round number 7. This is a 10-rounder, by the way, not a 12-rounder. But the big thing with the rest of this fight is going to be the difference between the power of Delgado and then basically the toughness and the volume of Sanchez. So I think the order for the rest of the fights, by the way, is going to be, if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be this fight, and then it's going to be Muratalla coming up next. And then I think you're going to get Estrada against Valle, and then Valdez against Wilson. So I think Muratalla is going to be on probably in about 30 minutes time, if I had to guess. And then I think after that, you're going to get the main event and the co-main event getting started around 11 o'clock, and probably the main event getting started around midnight. So main event probably still about 2.5 hours from now. So we're in round number 7, guys. Delgado against Sanchez in the 140-pound division. Oh, Sanchez is down again. I don't think he's going to get up. He's face down on the canvas, guys. I don't think he's going to make it back to his feet in time, and indeed he does not. The referee has waved this fight off. Seniesa is going to fight Jacob. Seniesa is going to fight around about 11 o'clock Eastern. I don't know what time zone you are in, but that is an hour and a half from now for me. She's, I think, opening the main portion of the TV show on the main TV show on ESPN, and that's going to start at 11 o'clock. So 11 o'clock, and then Valdez against Wilson, I think, probably about an hour after that, which would be midnight on the East Coast, which is 5 a.m., I believe. 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. in the UK, if anybody's going to make it all the way up for that one. Yeah, I agree, Dave. Dave in Australia, I assume. Sanchez looked better, but just couldn't handle the power. Rod, how you doing? What up, Rod? Yeah, so I feel bad for Sanchez because he was the underdog in this fight. I mean, I always kind of root for the underdog, and he ate a lot of shots, but he was actually looking good up to a point, and he probably did win some of the fight rounds of this fight on the scorecards, but he just couldn't handle the power. He got dropped twice. And the second time was a hard knockdown. He went down on the canvas and he couldn't get back up before the referee counted. And that was it, basically. But Delgado didn't look great in the first couple of rounds. He looked kind of confused. But you have to say he has power because he managed to turn the fight around with those big shots that he landed. Jacob here from Texas. Okay. So where is this card? This card's in Arizona. Okay, so yeah, I guess you're an hour behind. So yeah, so an hour and a half from now, I think Seniesa is going to be on, as far as I can tell. But like I say, I think Muratalla is going to be on next. That's because that's a 10-rounder as well. So I think probably about 15, 20 minutes from now, Muratalla will be in the ring because they'll have this one, interviews afterwards, and then Muratalla, which is 10 rounds, and then post-fight interviews, etc. for that. Estrada against Valle, 11 o'clock on the East Coast, I guess. So adjust that for whatever time zones you guys are in. Which way are you guys leaning for the fight? Who's going for Estrada and who's going for Yokasta? Realistically, that one I think could be the main event of this card. I mean, because Valdez is a big star, but realistically, in the sense that that one is for the undisputed title, it could really be the main event, and it's a very close fight as well. I'm kind of leaning towards Yokasta, actually, in that one. But let me know what you guys think. So Delgado improves to 20-0. He's got 15 knockouts, and you can see that his power is no joke, actually. Muratalla, by the way, is coming up next for anyone not following along who's not actually watching it. So yeah, they've announced the official running order is Muratalla next, followed by Estrada and Valle, Valdez against Wilson. Yeah, so that's exactly what we got. We got 3 fights left on the card. Anything on the undercard stand out for me? So Richard Torres, his 1-round knockout of Donald Hainsworth, kind of impressed me in the sense that Richard Torres is a somewhat unique heavyweight compared to a lot of the modern guys, in the sense that he's a little bit smaller. His style is a little bit more aggressive, and they were saying in the commentary and stuff that he's based his style a little bit off of Lomachenko, and he's nowhere near as big as a lot of the top guys in the division, but he makes up for it by being very aggressive, by throwing a lot of punches, and he does have power as well. And Hainsworth also has been in there with of the big names. He's been in there with Zhang, and he actually lasted longer against Zhang than he did against Richard Torres, for whatever that's worth. So I was kind of impressed with Richard Torres, to be honest with you. I still think he has a lot of work to do before he's going to be ready for the top names. But Richard Torres, there was a pretty boring fight on the undercard as well, I got to be honest. So, but that one, the Richard Torres, probably performance. Yes, I agree. I hope that Estrada's not injured, or her injury in this fight doesn't actually impact on the outcome of it. And I suspect if it's a close fight, there's probably a decent chance of a rematch for this one as well. I don't know if there's a rematch clause or anything like that for this fight, but I would suspect there's a good chance of a rematch in this one if it ends up being a close fight. But yeah, I don't know about this one, or that one rather, and I don't know about the main event either. I'm leaning towards Yokasta and Liam Wilson, but I think both of the fights are close, and they could realistically go either way. But as we saw in the last fight, Delgado was the favorite, but it wasn't actually looking so hot for him for a little while there. But it was just his power that was the difference in that fight. I don't think Robert Garcia was super happy with how he was doing in the earlier rounds in his corner, but in the end, when you've got power, you can get away with being behind on the cards. You can get away with some sloppiness. I think for Delgado going forward, though, his defense, he's going to want to basically, when you have power like he does, I think there's a danger that sometimes you take a few too many shots knowing that you're going to be able to get away with it because as long as you can hit the other guy with enough big bombs, he's going to eventually go down. But as Delgado goes up the rankings in the division, that's going to be less and less the case. He's going to need to tighten up his defense a little bit and just generally not start slowly in the fight like he did here. But on the whole, both guys looked really tough. Yokasta Valle working out rather, getting ready in the back. Getting ready for this one. Seniesa, though, if her hand's all right, if her hand's 100% and it doesn't impact how she does in this fight, I think she probably has a slight power advantage here. And yeah, I mean, depending on which rankings you pay attention to as well, I mean, this is a pound-for-pound fight. It's an undisputed fight. It's a pound-for-pound women's fight, depending on what rankings you pay attention to. I know ESPN doesn't have Yokasta in their top 10 pound-for-pound women's fighters, but BoxRec does, and some other lists I've seen do have her in the top pound-for-pound. Yeah, so they actually had Dave, yeah. So they've actually shown that quite a few times on the American broadcast as well. And they even had one of the commentators from the Australian TV on the American broadcast talking about Liam Wilson as well. And yeah, they've shown that clip quite a lot. Probably not as many as on the Australian broadcast, I would imagine, but they did show it quite a few times over here also. What do I think of the boxer card coming up, JYD? Thank you for your question. Yeah, I think that one is actually an entertaining card. I think that it's being overlooked a little bit because you've got the Tim Tszyu one, and I don't know how much of the fact that it's on Easter Sunday as well is part of that, but I think Fraser Clark against Fabio Wardley is going to be actually a really good fight. I think it's going to be, I think a lot of people are sleeping on that one. I think Fabio Wardley, in my opinion, is a really underrated heavyweight. He's actually got one of the meaner streaks, like the more, I would say, natural fighting instincts that I've seen out of a lot of the guys who are kind of on the coming up in the ranks in the heavyweight division. Like, I really do actually rate Fabio Wardley quite highly, even though his boxing career is relatively young. He doesn't have any amateur background to speak of. And Fraser Clark hasn't perhaps looked as impressive as he could have with the amateur background that he has, but I think he has all of the physical tools to potentially have a very successful career at heavyweight. It's just going to be whether he can iron out some of the things he's doing wrong. But I mean, he's got the size. He does have power. He just doesn't, to me, he doesn't sit on his shots as much as he could. He kind of tends to throw them a little bit, in my opinion, like he's still in the amateurs. But that fight's going to be really good. Vidal Riley against Mikal Lual is going to be a good one as well. Mikal Lual has got very, very good power. I watched his last fight against Isaac Chamberlain, which he lost, but Mikal Lual is a very dangerous opponent for Vidal Riley. And so that's another one. Ben Whitaker's on that card as well. Ben Whitaker has a very interesting style. I'm not sure whether I'm a fan of it or not, but it's certainly unique. But I think that card is going to be really interesting, and I think there are some good fights on it that people shouldn't be sleeping on, to be honest. Jacob, my thoughts on Tyson versus Jake Paul. Yeah, I wish Mike Tyson wasn't doing it, to be honest with you. But on the other hand, I'm interested. I'm interested to see whether it's an actual fight as well, or whether it's actually, because I know Carl Froch made a video. I don't know if you guys saw this video on Carl Froch's YouTube channel, but he basically made a video asking whether the Tyson-Jake Paul fight was fixed. And if you guys have seen Jake Paul's last couple of fights, I'm not saying that they were fixed, but let's just say that I don't think the opponent was trying super hard to win either. And Mike Tyson, I don't know. I mean, he's nearly twice Jake Paul's age, or maybe even double Jake Paul's age, roughly. What kind of shape is he really going to be in to fight a guy who's basically 30 years younger? I mean, I know he's Mike Tyson, but at some point, that age difference is gonna be important. But yeah, I mean, I wish Mike Tyson wasn't doing it, to be honest. I think it's kind of not a great look for the sport. But realistically, it's also going to be one of the biggest fights of the year, maybe even the biggest fight of the year. I mean, the ticket sales for that one, I'll be interested when they go on sale. Like, I've already even put myself on the on the ticket list for that fight, if I'm completely honest, for the pre-sale list. So there's a chance that I might even go to that one live. I've been to some of Jake Paul's fights live in the past because it's an event basically. Like there's a lot of people there. And to be fair, there's a lot of what you call it, like notable boxing people were at the last Jake Paul fight. Not the one in Puerto Rico, but the last one in the States. There were actually a lot of serious boxing people in the crowd at that fight that I saw as well. So Jake Paul fights are an event, but not really. James, how you doing? But not really, like it's not a serious boxing thing, to be honest. By the way, guys, so we're Muratalla is coming up in 8 minutes, if anybody is following along and wondering. But James, how you doing? JYD, yeah, I think there's some good fights on that card as well. Babbage, oh yeah, Alan Babbage, I forgot about that as well. And yeah, Congo against Marku. So to be honest, like I feel like it's a card, the boxer one, it hasn't gotten very much attention, to be honest, but I also feel like it's going to be potentially one of the better overall cards. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a good show. I just feel like for whatever reason, it's not gotten that much attention. I haven't paid. So I did have a look at how the tickets had sold for that one as well. And when I looked, there were quite a few, it looked like empty seats. I don't know if that's changed at all. I don't know if any of you guys are actually based over in the UK. Maybe even some of you are possibly even going to the show. But there were quite a few unsold tickets for it when I looked. But the card itself looks really good. I mean, I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to it. So I'll be streaming for the whole thing as well. Hopefully some of you guys will be tuning in, but I'm looking forward to the card. Hope Tyson wins. Yeah, I will be rooting for Tyson. I think every boxing fan will probably be rooting for Mike Tyson, except for people who probably still hated Tyson from years ago. But, I mean, if he legitimately beats a guy who's that much younger than him, then I think it both says that Jake Paul is really not that good. And it also says that Mike Tyson is still kind of got it. I mean, Tyson is a legend. But, I mean, at the end of the day, even Bernard Hopkins – at 50 or 51 years old, lost to Joe Smith Jr., a guy who respectfully Hopkins would have beaten, I believe, quite convincingly, even a few years prior to that fight. But at a certain point, he just wasn't up to it anymore. And Hopkins was fighting actively, number one, and number two, he was quite a few years younger than Mike Tyson is as well. Mike Tyson's pushing 60, I believe. And Jake Paul is not even 30, if I'm not mistaken. I think Jake Paul is around 28, 29, something like that, 27. I think he's in his late 20s anyway. And Mike Tyson is in his late 50s. So there's a 30-year age gap. I mean, no matter how skilled you are, at some point, 30 years is gonna make a difference. Otherwise, we'd have George Foreman coming back. But don't suggest that, because otherwise you might get Jake Paul against George Foreman next. Yeah, that is true, actually. Tyson's sparring videos are looking good, Jacob. I agree with you. And he didn't look bad in the Roy Jones fight either, in fairness. Now Roy Jones obviously is an older guy as well, and that was, I don't know, have they actually announced whether the Tyson fight is a real or is it an exhibition? Like, in the sense that, is this actually technically going to go on Mike Tyson's record if he loses this one or if he wins? Or, I mean, not that it really matters because he's not boxing actively anymore, but still, is this an actual official fight, or is it? I haven't even looked to see if it's listed on BoxRec or not. But if anybody knows if this is an actual official fight or whether this is just classed as an exhibition, let me know. But Jake Paul, I mean, if he loses, is this going to go on his record that he actually lost to a 60-year-old man, even though it's Mike Tyson? So I don't know if this one is an actual official fight, to be honest. In which case, then there's even less point to it, really. Apart from, obviously, both guys, I think, will probably make a lot of money from it. Dave Oz, what's my take on the narrative that Tim is going to fight Bud and fight Spence? Seems like the Bud fight would be hard to make. So I read some articles this week that there was talk of Terence Crawford actually fighting in Australia. I know Tim's promoter was talking about that, and I don't know if that was serious or if there is actual serious discussions about it. So from my point of view, I think Tim Tszyu would fight Terrence Crawford. I think he would fight Terrence Crawford. I think he would fight Spence. I think he would fight Charlo. I think he would fight any of those guys, and Boots Ennis as well. The question is, for me, I don't know if Terrence Crawford would want that fight, because it seems like Terrence Crawford just wants to fight the biggest money fights possible. And so I don't know if he's even going to try and just wait to fight Canelo in the fall, because Canelo is probably going to fight, I guess, in September again. And I don't know if Terrence Crawford is trying to get that fight basically next. And so if anybody ducks, I think it will actually be Terrence Crawford. And not necessarily because he's afraid that he's going to lose, but because he thinks that he basically wants to take the Canelo fight for more money, would be my guess. But I don't think Tim Tszyu is going to duck that fight. How much is the purse, Jacob? If we're talking about the Tyson-Jake Paul fight, I don't know. I don't know if that's actually been announced or anything like that publicly. As far as I'm aware, they haven't announced that, because there wasn't like the fight didn't go to purse bids or anything like that. So I don't think there's any public information yet about how much each guy is going to make for that one, at least as far as I'm aware. I would imagine it'd be quite a lot, though, because if it's in the AT&T Stadium and they actually sell that out, which, I mean, they might, in fairness, they actually might. Or, I mean, even if they don't sell it out, but even if they sell 50,000 tickets, 60,000 tickets, Netflix is going to be paying a lot to air that live, I would imagine, because Mike Tyson is still a huge name. And Jake Paul will be a big name to people who watch Netflix. What I mean by that is maybe younger people who don't actually watch boxing necessarily, but even they will know who Jake Paul is. Like, I know a lot of people who don't even follow boxing, friends of my wife who don't follow boxing in the slightest, but they know who Jake Paul is, and they actually have watched some of Jake Paul's fights. And so between the fact that a lot of people will be watching on Netflix and they might sell a significant amount of tickets at the AT&T Stadium, I think that they're going to be both being paid a large chunk of money for that one. Appreciate the salute. Joe Rogan's story about needing a wider desk because of Mike. Yeah. That is 100% official in Mike's mind. Yeah. I mean, the thing is that Mike Tyson is probably one of the only nearly 60-year-olds that realistically people would be looking at and saying he could be actually the favorite here against Jake Paul. Because I think if it was anybody else other than Mike Tyson, people would be saying, yeah, come on. I don't honestly think there's that many retired fighters, probably any retired fighters who are that age that people would be seriously considering to actually beat Jake Paul. Because, I mean, realistically, he's beat Nate Diaz. He's beat Tyron Woodley twice. And those guys, even though they came from MMA, they're still a lot younger than Tyson. Appreciate the salute, Kokoya, as well. Is Seniesa going to get the knockout tonight? Oh, well, James, I think it depends in part on how her hand's doing as well. Because if it's still kind of banged up, or even possibly if it gets re-injured in this fight, then I would say the odds of a knockout are less. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say she doesn't. I'm going to say that Yokasta actually wins the fight on points. That's my prediction. So I will say no. But Seniesa has power relative to the division. I mean, admittedly, this division is probably the women's minimum weight division, probably is the one that you're least likely to see power punchers, basically out of any division in all of boxing. I mean, it's the lightest division, essentially one of the lowest power punching divisions probably that there is. But Seniesa, relative to that, does have heavy hands. But I don't think she's going to do it. I think that Yokasta is actually going to win the fight on points. But we'll see. It's a close. It's a close one. Saludos. I appreciate that. Thank you. So, guys, Muratalla is coming up next right now. I think we're just going to get the ring entrances underway right now. So we got 3 fights left on this card. If you guys are just following along and not actually watching the stream, we got three fights coming up left, rather, on this card. So we have obviously Liam Wilson against Oscar Valdez in the main event. We have the co-main event, which is going to get started in about an hour's time, they've said, which is Seniesa Estrada against Yokasta Valle. And then we have Muratalla coming up next, but that one's a 10-rounder. So depending on how long it lasts, we might. I think that the Seniesa fight is set to start at 11 o'clock regardless, because I believe the undercard portion of this is airing on ESPN Plus, and the main card is airing, at least in the States, on the main ESPN TV network. For those that are in other countries, ESPN Plus is a streaming service, and ESPN, the main network, is on regular TV. So I think even if this next fight ends early, the Seniesa Yokasta fight is still not going to start for an hour, even if this next one ends in 1 round, because I think they want it to air on the main TV instead of just on the streaming service. But yeah, I'm really interested to see what Oscar Valdez looks like, though, because like I said before, he looked, I mean, he's still as tough as ever, but I mean, his face was beaten up like anything in that last fight against Navarrete. And I mean, every fighter, even the most iron-chinned fighters, at some point, when you keep taking beatings like that, it's going to add up and it's going to cause a problem. And Liam Wilson came close to stopping Navarrete. So can Liam Wilson stop Oscar Valdez tonight? It's not out of the question. I don't think it's impossible. Seniesa by close decision. Okay. So this one's on Sky Sports in the UK. Okay. And main event in Australia, I assume. My main event's the Australian broadcaster, I assume. So, Oscar Valdez and Liam Wilson both seemed very confident in this one. I think a lot of people are probably, like when I say a lot of people, I think a lot of the fighters in the division are probably rooting for Valdez to win this fight, because so they were interviewing O'Shaki Foster, for example, earlier in the broadcast, and I got the sense that he was rooting for Valdez to win the fight as well, just because Valdez is a big name and he's maybe seen by some of them as a bigger payday. But Liam Wilson, I mean, if he stops Valdez, especially in this fight, that's going to be a huge statement. Oh, Sky Sports main event channel in the UK. Okay, I'm with you, James. Got it. Would expect Valdez to win, but Wilson would, yeah. So Wilson could spring a surprise. I agree. I mean, he put Navarrete down, so he's got the power to stop probably anybody except Valdez, because, I mean, there's fewer fighters in boxing as tough as Valdez, but like I say, it's the end of the road at the top level for Valdez. Well, I think if he loses, yes. Yeah, as you say, Gatekeeper, I agree with you. If he loses this, then I think it is the end of the road for him. Especially because if he gets knocked out in this fight, then I think that's going to be an even worse sign. Like, I think if he loses a very close points decision, then realistically, he probably won't retire. He'll probably come back if he doesn't get too beat up. But I think if Valdez gets stopped, I mean, because everybody knows he's never been stopped in his career, and he's been in some incredible wars. So his chin is kind of like his main attribute, his last thing that he's got. I don't want to say his last thing that he's got going for him, but it's really his probably most elite level attribute still that very few other people have, which is a chin like he does. If that goes, then he's going to be in serious trouble. And at that point, yeah, I think Valdez would be well advised to consider retirement if he gets stopped by Liam Wilson in this fight. It's not because Liam Wilson is bad. Dave in Australia. So you think Wilson, it depends a lot on which version of him shows up in this fight, basically. If he looks good, then you think he can get it done. And if not, then he might put in a really lousy performance. Gatekeeper, you think Wilson will do well early, but Valdez will take over. Well, that's kind of what happened a little bit in the Navarrete fight as well. I mean, Raymond Muratalla is making his way to the ring now, by the way, guys. He's just doing his ring walk. But in the Navarrete fight, Valdez was pretty much getting lit up in the early rounds. I mean, Navarrete was just, every time he threw the jab, he was landing. Even though Valdez had a high guard, he was just getting hit with everything. But because his chin is so strong and his power is so good, in the later rounds, in the mid rounds and in the later rounds, it started to become more of a 50-50 fight. So I could see that happening as well, where Liam Wilson does well early on. It's also going to depend if Liam Wilson can take Valdez's power, because Valdez doesn't throw as much volume, but he's got heavy hands. He's got heavy hands and he's got a strong chin. I think those are realistically his biggest attributes in this fight, plus experience as well. And the other thing which I think is worth considering is, realistically, if it's a close fight and it goes to the scorecards, I think there is a realistic possibility that Valdez might be the favorite of the judges. Now, don't know for sure, but I suspect, just being the home fighter, and realistically probably the more well-known fighter in the United States, I think that Valdez probably will get the benefit of the doubt if there's a close fight on the scorecards. We don't know for sure, but I think that's something to be aware of as well. So I think Wilson needs to dominate the fight or get a stoppage. James, what's the next one I'm doing? So I'll be doing the whole card tomorrow, including the undercard and the main card for Tim Tszyu against Fundura. And then I will be, which I'm looking forward to that whole card. Like, there are so many good fights on that one that I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to Rolly against Pitbull as well. That's going to be great. And then I'm going to be doing the card on Sky Sports, the boxer card on Sunday. So I'll be doing both of the big ones this weekend, in addition to obviously this one right now. So Enda Jenny's just been announced in the blue corner. And he's fighting out of South Africa. Raymond Muratalla, 19-0. He's being announced now. So the last fight also featured a Robert Garcia trained fighter, which was Lindolfo Delgado. And he ended up getting the stoppage, and he looked very impressive doing it. If you guys didn't see it, he stopped Carlos Sanchez in 7. But Delgado did have some tough going in the early rounds of that fight, so it wasn't completely smooth sailing for the favorite. So we'll see what we get in this one as well. Muratalla is going to be a big favorite in this one. He looks very intense and focused. They're getting the final instructions from the referee here, guys. Oh, you know what? I forgot about that as well. So I'm actually... Am I doing Oscar and Yokasta tonight? Yes, absolutely, James. Yeah, I will be doing the whole card tonight as well. So I forgot. I completely forgot about Goulamirian against Zurdo. I want to watch that fight, and I will stream it, provided it's not at the same time as Tim Tszyu. I think it might be on after, though. Like, I think the main event might be on actually after Tim Tszyu against Fundura. And if that's the case, then I'll hop on another stream and do that one as well, because I'm looking forward to that one, especially because Goulamirian is training under Abel Sanchez. And Abel Sanchez, if I'm not mistaken, is only training one fighter now. And so I'm interested to see how that one goes as well. I just hope it's not on exactly at the same time as Tim Tszyu against Fundura. Yeah, Fundura is a very difficult opponent to prepare for on short notice. I mean, there's nobody around that weight who has his dimensions. And then when you consider the fact that he also has a very strange style, and strange in a good way. Like, I always think it's good when fighters do things that are unconventional, because it's hard to find sparring partners that are 6'6" that actually compete in that weight class and also fight on the inside. Like, you would think with his height, first of all, that he would fight at light heavyweight at least. And secondly, he doesn't, but then you would think that he would fight on the outside rather, and he doesn't do that either. So he's a tough guy to prepare for on short notice. Garcia or Haney, 100%. I will be genuinely shocked if Ryan Garcia wins the fight. Like, I really can't see that happening. I will be stunned if that happens. You never know. Who are you taking in that one, Jacob? But yeah, to me personally, because of all the stuff that Ryan's doing, like outside of the ring, I don't know. I just can't see him being properly prepared for this fight. I don't think he's going to be ready, to be honest. And Devin Haney's one of the best out there at the moment. Fundora might pull off the upset. You thought Lubin was going to beat him. Yeah, well, Fundora is interesting because he can punch. And he's got fast hands. So, Jacob, you're picking Haney as well. Yeah, I think that's a smart choice. Now, if Ryan pulls off the upset, good for him. But I really can't see anything other than Devin Haney winning that one. I thought Haney was going to beat Prograis pretty easily, and I'm even more confident that he beats Ryan Garcia. So, guys, also, we are in round number 1 as well here. Raymond Muratalla is taking control of the center of the ring. And there's 30 seconds left in round number 1. He is eating some jabs, though, here. But he's looking very, very composed. Fight's taking place in the center of the ring right now. Muratalla is walking forward. Endogeni he's moving on his feet, and it's making Muratalla be cautious about what shots he throws. If he can do that the whole fight, then Endogeni's going to cause Raymond some problems. But, I mean, I think, honestly, he's going to come back in this one. So, Robert Garcia in the corner is telling Muratalla to close the distance down. He's saying that he's at a disadvantage on the outside because of the movement. And I agree. I think if Muratalla can close the distance down, he's going to be more effective than he was in that first round. So let's see what happens, guys. But Muratalla, if he can close the distance, I think is going to be able to deliver some heavy shots to the body of Endogeni. And I think if he can do that, he's going to slow down the foot movement a lot. We're going to get round number 2 underway here. Oh, some big shots or some big swings from Endogeni. I question whether Endogeni is going to have the stamina to continue fighting at this pace for the entire fight, because he's definitely letting his hands go. He's trying to exchange with Muratalla. I don't know if that's a smart plan. Muratalla is looking very composed, and his uppercuts are landing with a lot of force. He's getting outlanded at the moment by Endogeni, but Muratalla just looks very calm and composed. Even as he's getting hit with shots, he doesn't look like he's under any pressure at all. And he's got that power as well. Only 3 of his fights have gone the distance. And I don't think this one will either, to be honest with you. I think Endogeni, to be honest, is using a lot of energy moving around. And unless he has some phenomenal stamina, he's going to get slowed down, because he is eating some body shots. To be honest, he's eating some uppercuts. He just took a nice right hand to the chin, did Endogeni. I think Muratalla is just being very selective with his shots. But what he is throwing, they're big, heavy shots. And I think you're going to see Endogeni start to slow down in a little bit. Muratalla walking forward. He's using his jab and the right hand now. Endogeni is starting to, I was going to say he's starting to slow down a little bit, but then just as I say that, he does actually come forward and start letting his hands go again. I mean, if he can keep this pace up the entire fight and not get stopped, then he's going to cause Muratalla problems. But I think that's a big if. You can tell that there's a power difference when Muratalla lands like he did just there. Endogeni is definitely winning the exchanges as far as volume, but Muratalla, you can tell he's got heavier shots. He just missed with a big left uppercut there, and I think if that had connected to the body, it would have done some damage. But Endogeni, he's using his jab and doubling it up. And he's using some good head movement, actually, to avoid the hooks from Muratalla, but he just got clocked there. Looked like he just got hit there. But Muratalla, I think, he's just being very patient. I don't think it's a case of him being overwhelmed by the volume. I think he's just being very patient. Now, arguably, Endo Jenny might have won this round based on volume, but like I say, I think that Muratalla is just being very patient. What does Robert Garcia say in the corner? Robert Garcia is just telling him, he's just telling him to throw some feints and work the body a bit more. And yeah, I agree. If Muratalla gets on the inside and then goes to the body a bit more, I think he's going to slow Endo Jenny down. And then that's where he's going to be very dangerous, where he's going to have a chance to get the finish. So what fights are you guys looking forward to most this weekend? For me, it's probably the two this evening. I'm looking forward to Tim Tszyu and Fundura a lot. I'm looking forward to Pitbull against Rolly a lot. I'm actually looking forward to quite a few of the fights on the Boxer card as well. I'm looking forward to Makalual against Vidal Riley. I'm looking forward to the main event of that card as well. But what fights are you guys looking forward to the most this weekend? Seniesa against Yokasta, I think, should be very, very good skill level-wise fight as well. So we're getting the third round underway now, guys. Still Endo Jenny with the high volume. I mean, his jab is an effective weapon in this fight. He's using his jab, and then whenever the distance gets closed, he's letting his hands go. Muratalla is he's basically getting beat to the punch in these exchanges here. Endo Jenny, it's really going to be a case of whether, I mean, there a nice combination landed. He's actually pretty much dominating this round at this point. He's landed some good combinations. Muratalla is relying, I think, on his power a little bit too much here. Robert Garcia told him, ooh, Muratalla wobbled Endo Jenny there, but he's on the back foot. Endo Jenny's on the back foot. Muratalla is walking him down. Muratalla is looking for that big power shot. I don't think he's concerned about winning this fight on volume. I think he's purely looking for the knockout here. The other problem is that Muratalla is realizing he can walk through the shots of Endo Jenny, and I think that's causing problems. That's causing problems for Endo Jenny because if he is getting walked through, then his volume is going to be significantly less effective, especially because Muratalla is now trying to close the distance to get to the inside. He's using his body movement or his head movement as well to avoid some of these shots. He did get cracked on the chin, though, with a nice right hand. Muratalla manages to get to the inside. He's trying to work the body. But Endo Jenny throws back a nice body shot of his own. Muratalla counters. Both guys are kind of going to the body. Oh, Endo Jenny got wobbled, though. See, that's the thing. He's shaking his head. It's just that power from Muratalla. That's the difference. Endo Jenny is the volume, but Muratalla has the power, and he just stung Endo Jenny there. There's 30 seconds left in round 3. Muratalla is not looking as good as he did in his last fight. I'm going to be honest. But he does have the power to turn this one around at any time. 10 seconds left in the round. He's still stalking Endo Jenny, and he got hit there with a left hand. My issue with Muratalla, though, is he's not using enough movement. I think he's not using enough, like Robert Garcia said in the corner. He could use more feints, but I don't know. What do I know? I'm just watching it on TV. It's easy for me to have all the answers when I'm not in the ring and I'm not in the corner, right? But Endogene's he's doing well again as the underdog. He's doing well in this fight. Fundora versus Tim mostly. Kokoi. Okay. You're disappointed in the Teofimo Lopez news. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was kind of optimistically hoping that we would get Teo in a bigger fight than that. But I don't know. I don't know what the deal is, to be honest with you. In an ideal world, I would have liked to have seen Teo against Devin Haney or against Matthias, but I don't know why he's taking these fights, which I think realistically he's going to have a much better, well, a relatively easy time. I mean, you never know. There can always be upsets, and he was upset as well against Kambosos. But yeah, I mean, it looks like that was going to be taking place in Miami at the end of June. And the thing with Teo is he's an entertaining, exciting fighter, and so as a result, he's got a chance to, I think, put on a show in any one of his fights. But I don't really think, I don't know. I don't think he's going to get put under too much difficulty, in my opinion. I haven't seen the odds for the fight either, but I think Claggett is going to be a significant underdog. So we're underway in round number 4, guys. Matthias is busy. Yeah, oh yeah, that's true. That is true, actually. How are you doing, Mithrandir? Well, I mean, I guess in an ideal world, I would have liked to have seen Teo against one of the top guys in the division. But it's true. I mean, a lot of them are busy as well. I hope we get to see Shakur back in the ring at some point soon. Like, it feels like he didn't fight that long ago, but it also feels like against De Los Santos, that fight was a long time ago. Like, it feels like Shakur has been kind of out of sight, out of mind for a while. I mean, to be fair, Tank hasn't fought in quite a while too, actually. But some of these guys, it'd be nice to see them a little bit more active. I mean, Devin Haney's fought. This will be his 3rd fight since Tank has last fought. And even Teo's, what is this? Teo's third or 4th fight? 3rd? So we're in the 4th round anyway now. We've got a minute left in the 4th round. Endo Jenny is he's trying his best to keep his movement up. But Muratalla is just walking him down now. Muratalla is eating a lot of shots. I don't know. He does look kind of half asleep, to be honest with you, Muratalla. Like, he doesn't look like he's being put off by the power coming back at him, but he does just look like he's sleepwalking a little bit through this fight. And Endo Jenny's actually taking advantage of it to use a lot of volume. Muratalla, he's either kind of sleepwalking or he's being frozen by all the volume and the awkward angles coming from Endo Jenny. They're exchanging now to end the round. 10 seconds left in the round. Endo Jenny, rather, is misses with a big left uppercut there. He just taps Muratalla to the body to end the round there. But I think Robert Garcia is going to be telling him in the corner that he needs to move around a bit more. He needs to move a bit more. He needs to, I think, just not stand directly in front of Endo Jenny, in my opinion. Claggett is a name in Canada, not well known outside of there. Typically gets beat when he steps up. Okay. Okay. Who's Shakur fighting next then? Do we know that for sure? Mithrandir, Shakur doesn't have an opponent announced yet, does he, for sure? Shakur, I won't lie. Shakur is one of my favorite fighters stylistically, in the sense that I think his skills are so slick. I love his skill set. I wish he was a little bit more active, and I wish he would be involved in fights against some of these big names. to be honest. But skill-wise, Shakur is one of my favorites. All right, guys. So as they're showing on screen, the big difference so far in this fight as round 5 gets underway is that Muratalla has landed significantly more punches, almost double as many punches as, sorry, Endo Jenny rather has landed almost as double as many punches as Muratalla has, but Muratalla's got that power, and that's kind of balancing things out a little bit. But I would just like to see a little bit more head movement, a little bit more body movement, just foot movement, some kind of movement from Muratalla, because even though he's walking Endo Jenny down, he's kind of a sitting target as well. Endo Jenny is just not having any trouble missing the target here because Muratalla is just right there to be hit right in front of him. And Endo Jenny's eating some leather as well, but he's moving on his feet more. Muratalla digs to the body there with a hook, and then he goes with a straight left to the body as well, but it's not actually succeeding at stopping Endo Jenny from coming forward. Muratalla is, I think, happy to get into these exchanges. But Endo Jenny, if he can actually keep this pace up and survive to the end, then it's going to be very interesting what happens on the scorecards, especially because Muratalla is both the favorite and realistically the home fighter as well. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, we're in round number 5 here, guys. Muratalla is blinking a little bit as well. I think something either got in his eye or he got caught with one of those shots, but he's blinking a little bit as he comes forward. Endo Jenny's eating some big bombs, though, at the end with a minute left in the round. He took some shots straight on the chin. Right hook landed there as well from Muratalla. But Endo Jenny, every time he gets hit, he's throwing 2-3 shots back. He's throwing probably 2 shots back for every one that he gets hit with. Ooh, big one landed on the chin there of Endo Jenny. Muratalla is just too easy to hit right now. Now he's digging to the body, but his head and his body are kind of stationary. Okay, nothing confirmed yet. Okay. Yeah, I was hoping we would get Shakur in against a bigger name. I'm not super thrilled. Yeah, Dave, I agree with you. Muratalla hasn't looked great so far, to be honest. I keep waiting for him to land something big and turn the fight around. But to be honest, we're halfway through now, and he's not looking great. At a certain point, earlier on in the fight, it looked like he's trying to land. He's being very patient. But at a certain point, it just looks like he's sleepwalking. And at the same time, Endo Jenny's confusing him with his movement, his angles, his speed. Yeah, I agree. Muratalla is not impressing super much for me either. But like I always say, I mean, it's easy for me to have the answers watching on TV. I'm not even there live. They're telling him in the corner. Huh, okay, that's interesting. Okay, so they are telling Muratalla in the corner that, or rather Endo Jenny in the corner, that Muratalla doesn't have the power to hurt him. They're telling him that he can't be hurt and that he can actually hurt Muratalla. Now, Muratalla doesn't look super winded or beat up in his corner, but he does look a little bit, I don't know what the word is, out of it. He just doesn't look like he's completely there, to be honest. But if you look at the punch stats on screen, they are saying that Muratalla has landed more punches, but I don't know if those stats are accurate. They said that Muratalla landed almost twice as many punches as Endo Jenny, but I don't see that watching it, to be honest with you. Zapata and Oscar were calling out. Yeah. That's the thing, like, call-outs are one thing, but especially in boxing, I have take the attitude sometimes of I'll believe it when I see it actually in the ring. Now, there are certain guys who I do believe really probably would take on anybody. Like, I think Tim Tszyu probably would take on Crawford or Spence or Charlo, and I think he probably would take on Canelo in a few years if Canelo's still around, if he goes up. But We're in round number 6, by the way, now, guys. So I was concerned a little bit about the advice that Endogeni got in his corner in the last round to try and go for the knockout, because it seemed like he was having success when he was moving and he was actually using his volume. And Muratalla is now using his power, and Endogeni's if anything, Endogeni's like going to be more likely to get stopped, I think. His corner disagreed, but there he just got hit with a big shot to the head as well. Oh, another one. Another big right hand landed Muratalla. I'm really a bit confused why Endogeni's corner told him that they couldn't be knocked out and that actually they were close to stopping Muratalla. I don't think that that was the correct game plan. And if he gets stopped, then we'll see. But I don't think that was the correct game plan at all. So Muratalla now is taking control of this round. He's kind of landing the right hand at will now on Endogeni. Endogeni needs to get back on his bike and move around the ring and use his movement. Forget about the knockout here. His advantage has been the power, or rather the speed and the movement, not power. I don't know why they told him that, to be honest with you. Maybe it was just to boost his confidence, but that's not the right game plan, and it's not working in this round. Muratalla is having success when he's landing these shots. By the way, if anybody is just tuning in, we are about 40 minutes away from the start of Seniesa Estrada against Yokasta Valle, and then Oscar Valdez against Liam Wilson will be coming up after that. But this has been a better round for Muratalla, and I think a lot of it has come down to the bizarre change of tactics, I think, from Muratalla, starting to try and sit on his shots a bit more. And Muratalla didn't look phased as much in that round. Let's hear what Robert Garcia has to say in the corner. But you can see on the replay that Muratalla was able to land combinations on the chin of Endogeni. And because of that power, too many of those, and Endogeni is going to get KO'd still, even though he's done really well so far. So we'll see. What do you guys think of Lomachenko against Kambosos, by the way? Because we haven't seen Lomachenko in a little bit now, since the Haney fight, which I still think he won. Yeah, what are you guys thinking about Kambosos against Lomachenko? Because that's coming up in not that long as well. I think about 6-7 weeks away for that one. So we're underway in round number 7, by the way. Muratalla coming out and getting caught with a straight right hand, or with a right hand, rather. Endogeni gets caught with a right hand. But he does land, and it seems to pause Muratalla momentarily. It looked like he might have been wobbled a little bit, but I don't think he actually was. I don't think he actually was wobbled. He just ducked underneath the shot. But a little bit more movement again from Endogeni. He's trying to reach in from the outside and land at range, and he's not quite succeeding. It looks like Muratalla is beating him to the punch a little bit more, even as Endogeni unloads combinations, but they're not all getting through to the body. They're not all getting through to the body. Ooh. Endogeni, I've been impressed with him, though, to be honest. As the underdog in this fight, he has done well so far. But I am concerned that if this fight goes to the scorecards, to be honest with you, I think that there will be things will go in favor of Muratalla, will be my suspicion, even if the fight goes to the scorecards. Because he is landing power. Both guys are in the center of the ring exchanging, but I have a feeling the judges might favor the power of Muratalla as opposed to the movement of Endogeni. Loma clobbers him. And Haney won. Listen to Elsa and let it go. Yeah, I do think that Lomachenko will probably beat Kambosos, but you never know. Never know, and we'll see. I mean, it's going to be an interesting fight. Lomachenko, for me, is still one of the best out there, I think. And I'm expecting him to still look good against Kambosos. Muratalla now landing some big shots on Endogeni in the corner. Bell goes to announce 10 seconds left in round number 7. Endogeni lands a combination, but Muratalla comes firing back. Endogeni, though, probably got the best of that exchange in the last 10 seconds of the round. So we got 3 rounds to go in this one. It's a 10-rounder. See, still the corner of Endogeni is telling him not to go backwards. Not to go backwards and instead exchange with Muratalla, which for me is not the advice that he should be following. I thought he looked better when he was using his movement, but again, like I keep saying, what do I know? But to me, the movement was going to be more what he needed to do. I don't know. Robert Garcia seems a little bit exasperated with how Muratalla is doing as well at this point. I think he also wants him to step it up. I think both trainers believe that their man has the advantage if he lets his hands go and tries to exchange. But it, in my opinion, Muratalla will be the one that actually wins these exchanges if they do actually start landing some big, heavy blows on each other on the inside. So, guys, round number 8 is underway, and Endogeni is coming out swinging to start this round. Endogeni is listening to his corner. He's not backing up, but he's also getting hit on the chin. That big left uppercut, if that connects from Muratalla, it's going to do some damage to Endogeni. Now, I will say, Endogeni is defying, I think, a lot of people's expectations in this fight, in the sense that he is actually managing to exchange with Muratalla so far. And each round, I keep saying that that's a bad idea, but each round he's actually proving me wrong in the sense that he's surviving and arguably winning these exchanges. And at a certain point, you got to think that maybe Muratalla is actually going to be needing to win some of these late rounds, which I wasn't expecting, to be honest. Yeah, he does have weird angles. I agree. I kind of thought at first that he was going to be able to move around the ring early on and then Muratalla would be able to walk through him. But I think his chin must be better than it was advertised to be. Like, he's not just getting walked through at all. And he's getting hit. It's not like his movement is impeccable. It's not like he's not getting hit at all. I mean, he's getting hit. He's moving, and it's the angles that are causing Muratalla problems. But Endogeni he's serious about trying to win this fight. He's getting hit on the chin. He's getting hit on the head. He's taking some shots from Muratalla. His defense could be tightened up for sure. But, I mean, even these exchanges, because they're in the center of the ring here, not wanting to clinch and instead just letting bombs go on each other. And Endogeni landed some big shots. It looked like he got wobbled a little bit there. Muratalla now coming forward because he's got Endogeni up against the ropes, but Endogeni just fires back. Endogeni is being really impressive here. Even if he loses this fight, which he still might, but even if he does, I think he deserves a lot of credit for the way he's been hit with a lot of shots and just come back swinging every time. Like, he's shown a lot of heart here. I've been very, very impressed by the way he's been able to get hit by these shots and not go down. Yeah, the Wasp, exactly. Yeah, that is a fitting nickname. I agree. I agree. Let's hear what Robert Garcia has to say in the corner, because I feel like he can't be super happy with what he's seeing. He's telling him to be more explosive. Okay, so Robert Garcia is telling him not to be wild, but to be explosive. And it's true. I mean, these wild exchanges, even though they are landing some punches, they are actually hurting, or they are hitting Muratalla, but they're not hurting him that much. They're not doing that much damage. So now we got 2 rounds to go. Now we got 2 rounds to go, and it's going to be very interesting to see how this gets scored if it goes to the scorecards, to be honest with you. And we're also 30 minutes away from Yokasta Valle against Seniesa Estrada in the co-main event. So we're underway in round number 9 here, guys. And I'm kind of rooting for Muratalla to at least go the distance in this fight. I think he deserves to not get knocked out here in a way, based on, I think, the fact that he's eaten a lot of shots. He's moved. He's been tough. He's been in all of these exchanges. Muratalla just hasn't looked as sharp as he normally would, as he normally has in his recent fights. Endo Jenny is just walking forward and unloading. It's just every time that Muratalla throws a punch, Endo Jenny is throwing back 2 at the same time, sometimes even 3. And like I say, we're about 30 minutes away from the co-main event at this point. 2 rounds left in this one if you guys are tuning in and not actually watching the fight live. Endo Jenny is taking control of the center of the ring, but Muratalla now reverses the position, and now Muratalla is in the center. Endo Jenny comes back. Now he's in control. Oh, he swung himself off balance. He ended up almost hitting the canvas, Endo Jenny, but it wasn't a knockdown. It was a slip. He swung himself off balance with a shot. Now a big right hand landed from Muratalla. Endo Jenny's now up against the ropes. I think that slip, even though it wasn't a knockdown, but I think that slip has made Muratalla have a little bit more confidence. He's almost acting like he got a knockdown, even though he didn't. But I think Endo Jenny has done a very admirable job in this fight, and he might even be able to get the decision here. I'm not sure. Muratalla is just standing in front of him. He's not letting his hands go enough. He's not landing with enough big shots. It just has been a combination of a lack of activity from Muratalla, awkwardness and angles from Endo Jenny, and then the volume and the stamina and the ability to withstand the punches of Muratalla, and then the fact that Muratalla looks like he's half asleep in there. Because right now, these exchanges going on in the center of the ring, you would expect Muratalla to be the one coming off better in them, and arguably he isn't. At the very least, I would say they're even, but arguably Endo Jenny's landing more shots. Now Muratalla has him backed up against the ropes. He's trying to land something big to win the round. But as per usual, Endo Jenny comes firing back, and they end the round in the clinch in the center of the ring. So now we're going to round number 10. How do you guys have this fight going on the scorecards, assuming it does get to the end? How do you guys have this one ending? If it actually makes it rather all the way to the end. What do you guys think is going to happen? They're just showing the rankings on the ESPN lightweight rankings on the screen. Does anybody have Tank losing to Frank Martin? Anybody willing to take Frank Martin over Tank? Probably not me, but I'm just curious if anybody out there is thinking that Frank Martin is going to beat Tank. I don't think so, in my opinion. I don't think so. I got to be honest as well. Like, the big problem I have with a lot of these guys in that division is that Tank and Shakur in particular, the opposition just hasn't been, I think, what it could have been, basically. In my opinion, both of those guys need to step up the quality of opposition. I mean, Ryan Garcia, in my opinion, is not an elite guy, even though Tank beat him easily, but I don't know, Ryan Garcia, Pitbull again, but I want to see some of these top guys against each other, not just kind of circling around and not actually getting in the ring with each other. Muratalla, by the way, we're underway in round 10. Muratalla connected a couple of times on the chin of Endo Jenny, and now he's walking forward. Endo Jenny looks like he has been wobbled a little bit here. Muratalla landed a nice combinations there. Yeah, how is he talking? Imagine him against Lomachenko. Yeah. Well, I mean, if he's having problems with the movement of Endo Jenny, and I agree with you, Dave. I think Muratalla probably will get the decision, which is a shame in a way, but I think that Endo Jenny's movement in particular caused him a lot of problems, and I don't know. I think he would definitely struggle terribly against Lomachenko at this point. But I mean, at the same time, I think this was a bad performance from Muratalla. Like, I think he is capable of better than this. I suspect he would say even after the fight that this wasn't a great. I don't know if there's something going on, if he has an injury, if he's, I don't know, but I don't think he would say this was his best performance either. I don't think Robert Garcia would say this was his best performance either. So we got a minute left in round number 10, guys. This is the final round of the fight. Both fighters trying to buy some time in the clinch now. Muratalla seems to be the fighter who's actually fighting with more determination, desperation, whatever you want to say here. He seems to be the one who's a little bit more determined to win this round. And that's interesting because he obviously wants to finish strong, does Muratalla, as he lands a nice shot right there and another right hand. I think that Muratalla needs to look strong in the end here, because if he got dominated in this round, at some point Endo Jenny was actually going to be in the conversation to win this on the scorecards. And I still think he could be, but I think with Muratalla being the home fighter, as Endo Jenny missed there, Endo Jenny now getting backed up against the ropes and hit with some shots. 10 seconds left in the fight, guys. 10 seconds left in the round. Muratalla's fought pretty much at one pace throughout the entire fight, but the result of that is he hasn't slowed down. He landed the last punch of the fight. Endo Jenny, I think, deserves a lot of credit for this one. I think whether or not he wins this fight on the scorecards, I think he's going to be back for some other big fights after this one, because I think he acquitted himself very well, actually. That is true, Dave. I mean, Muratalla does have a very awkward style. And that is true. I mean, lots of good fighters have had bad performances against awkward styles. But I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be very interesting to see what the scorecards say for this one. I think if the scorecards for this one are unnecessarily wide, though, that will be a shame. So we'll see. But we've got 20 minutes or so, guys, until the start of the, well, probably not the start of the main event, but probably the start of the ring walks. In fact, I would guess that we're probably almost just over half an hour away from the start of the co-main event, because the main broadcast is going to start at 11, and then I think we're going to get probably some promo packages, some interviews, and what have you, and then the ring entrances. So probably about 35, even 40 minutes away from the actual first bell of Seniesa against Yokasta. So I hope you guys are all having a good weekend as well. But I think the official punch stats that they showed at the midway point of the fight weren't really fair, where they had Muratalla actually landing more punches by quite a bit. I don't think that was necessarily reflective of what actually happened, in my opinion. All right, guys, decision time. What do we got? $99.91. Okay. $98.92. $97.93. Okay. Those scorecards are very wide. Okay. I think those scorecards, in my opinion, were very wide. Especially those first two scorecards. I don't know. What do you guys think of those scores? I thought two of those cards were unnecessarily wide, personally. I don't agree with that. I think that Muratalla deserved to, or rather that Endo Jenny deserved a lot better than that. I think the judges were not fair with the scorecards in that one. So, Seniesa Estrada against Yokasta Valle coming up next. The odds for this one have been extremely close. Like I said, I kind of am leaning towards Valle just slightly, but I could see this fight going either way, and that's what makes it so exciting, I think. But we're still a little bit away from this one, guys, so bear with me and hang on. We've still got a bit of time to go. About 30 minutes, I think. Who do you guys have winning this one? Seniesa or Yokasta? Seniesa's got the power, obviously. But like I say, there's also the hand surgery aspect of it as well, and I don't know. Who's number one pound for pound, guys, in the women's division? Who's number one pound for pound? Clarissa? Katie Taylor? Who's number one? Because they've got Seniesa at number 5 in their pound for pound rankings. Who's the top pound for pound in the women's division, guys? So it looks like they're actually walking to the ring now. So maybe we're going to do the ring walks before the hour break. I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, the winner of this fight as well, if Yokasta Valle wins this one as well, then she's going to be up in the top 5 of the pound for pound, I think, as well. Because I think Seniesa Estrada probably is top 5 pound for pound. I think you probably got Clarissa, Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, Chantel Cameron, Seniesa, something like that. So if Yokasta wins this one, then in fairness, she deserves to be, I think, in the top 5 pound for pound at this point. So, you know, it's a big one for both of these ladies. And yes, Daniel, Shakira Twitterson can be in the top 5 pound for pound as well. He needs to get in the ring. I agree with that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this fight. This is one of my most anticipated women's fights in quite some time. We do need at some point, in my view, though, a rematch between Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. Yokasta, though, if she wins this fight, she's going to make her a big statement, I think. And she's going to make a name for herself more so than, you know, she already has. So if anything, she probably has more to gain in this one. And Seniesa, I would say, as the bigger name, has more to lose. But I don't know. I mean, one of the best things about women's boxing is that these big fights happen, these undisputed fights happen so much more easily than on the men's side. And I think that's something that the men's division, it's incomparably behind the women's side in terms of getting these undisputed fights made. Now, in fairness, things are changing recently. I mean, we're going to have undisputed heavyweight, undisputed light heavyweight almost 3 weeks apart, and we've been waiting years for those fights to get made otherwise. So in that sense, the men's side is picking up. But still, it's very, very exciting when you get these big fights in the women's division just made without all the drama, without all the politics. Bit of controversy with the trainer in the pre-fight promo. Yeah. What happened specifically with the trainer? Oh, is this to do with what happened with the trainers in the promo? It's interesting. It is interesting in the sense that there's a little bit of mind games going on between the camps, I think. Yokasta looks very focused. Seniesa also looks very focused. So I think both ladies rather, they're looking good. I don't know what to say other than the fact that this fight is going to be a good one, guys. WBA, WBC, IBF, WBO, all the belts on the line here. I like this this glowing robe that Yokasta is wearing. If you guys can't see it, she's making her ring walk, and she's got like kind of a glow-in-the-dark hood, but it's like the inside of the hood glows in the dark, and the inside of the robe glows. And then it looks like the gloves are actually glowing as well, which is kind of cool. Yokasta is making her way to the ring now. So it looks like was close friends with Seniesa. Yeah, when she was growing up. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know how much of that is mind games and how much of that is that she really does know Seniesa's like weaknesses inside and out. But if that's the case, if she really does know her that well, I mean, that's going to be an advantage for Yokasta. There's no question about that. Yokasta is actually making her ring entrance right now. So it looks like we're not going to have to wait, which is good. This is good because Yokasta's made her ring entrance already. So I was thinking we might still be half an hour away from the actual first bell, but I don't think that's true. I think we're going to get Seniesa, then we're going to get a little bit of a break at 11, and then we're going to get the opening bell straight away after that. So let's go, guys. So anybody who's tuning in, who's not actually watching the stream, we are only a few minutes away now from Seniesa against Yokasta. Seniesa is making her ring walk right now. There's a mariachi band playing her to the ring. But yeah, that means we're getting the ring entrances out of the way. We're going to get the first bell very shortly here, guys. So if you're tuning in for the main event and the co-main event, that's what we've got coming up next. Seniesa right now against Yokasta, and then Oscar Valdez, Liam Wilson after that. And remember, of course, because this one is going to be over more quickly because of the shorter rounds, I would guess the main event's probably going to be starting in about 45 minutes from now. Yeah, I like that ring, the robe from Yokasta as well, Dave. I agree. I thought it was a good one. In terms of the outfits, the entrance outfits, I thought that Yokasta probably wins. I think it was a little bit cooler than the one that Seniesa, the cape. So Seniesa Estrada is making her way to the ring now, guys. Looks like a decent crowd for this fight, which I'm glad to see. It's hard to tell exactly, but it does look like there's a decent crowd here for this one. There's a lot of Mexican flags, a lot of Mexican and American flags in the crowd for Seniesa. She's going to be, I suspect, the crowd favorite in this one. But she looks very focused and calm as well. I don't think either lady is going to be intimidated or phased here. I think this is a genuinely pretty much a 50-50 fight. And I think, let's go. That's really all I have to say. Let's go. Let's go. Let's see what happens. I just think that both of these ladies getting in the ring without a lot of drama, it's these type of fights, you know, that are going to help grow women's boxing as well. And it's these type of fights that are going to make men's boxing have to step up its game as well. So we're just getting the actual introductions of the fighters in the ring now. All right, guys. They're just announcing the judges now. Hopefully, if it goes to the cards, we'll get a good decision. I didn't agree with the way the last fight was scored, to be honest with you. I thought it was too wide. So this is the co-main event, guys. Seniesa Estrada and Yokasta Valle even. 10 2-minute rounds. And this is for all of the marbles in the minimum weight division. Let's go. So yeah, this is also the first time ever, by the way, that there is an undisputed at this weight class. So whoever wins this one, it's going to be a historic event, plus also a big achievement in the ring as well. Yokasta being introduced first. Yokasta only has the one loss as well in a title fight. I don't know. I'm leaning towards Yokasta in this one. I think it'll be close, but I'm leaning towards Yokasta. So, guys, if you're not watching the stream, Yokasta Valle is being introduced right now. She is in the ring. She is being introduced first. Seniesa is going to be introduced next. And we're going to get this one underway. There's a decent amount of cheers in the crowd for Yokasta. Some boos as well. I'm assuming the crowd is going to be more for Seniesa. There are some boos for Seniesa as well. Yeah, I agree, Dave. There is a fairly good crowd, and it's not always the case. It's not always the case. There some shows, I mean, the last Shakira fight or Shakur fight was in front of a pretty empty arena, if I remember correctly. So it's not out of the question that these fights, even in a big arena, even involving big stars, actually, if you look online, a lot of empty seats still for Devin Haney against Ryan Garcia, which is interesting. A lot of seats haven't been sold for that one. Tons of empty seats for Ryan Garcia against Devin Haney. So Seniesa is being introduced now. Both ladies have now been officially introduced. More of the crowd noise was for Seniesa. More of the crowd noise was for Seniesa. We're getting ready to get this one underway, guys. Referee just giving out his final instructions to both ladies. They're about to touch gloves, or not, as the case may be. Touch gloves, yep. They did touch gloves. 10 2-minute rounds. The crowd is really into this one, guys. Like, this, it feels like the main event, even though technically it's not. But the crowd is up for this one. And they're into it. All right, guys. It is on. The first bell has gone. Round number 1. Seniesa against Yokasta. So Yokasta is trying, or rather Seniesa is trying to control the space in the center of the ring. She's using her jab. She's kind of slapping with her jab, though, as opposed to throwing it straight out. Yokasta managing to close the distance, get inside. But they're separated now. Seniesa still back on the outside. Seniesa swinging wildly. Yokasta looks a little bit more under control. She does end up on her butt in the center of the ring, but the referee rules it's not a knockdown. Seniesa looked a bit more wild in those first exchanges. Yokasta looked a little bit more under control. The jab from Seniesa doesn't look quite as sharp out of the southpaw stance. Yokasta just looks a little bit crisper to me in these early exchanges. Seniesa got hit with a jab there. Seniesa just looks a little bit more messy. Yokasta looks just a bit smoother. Yokasta is controlling the distance effectively. The fight's taking place in the middle of the ring, but some nice head movement from Yokasta to get out of the way of the southpaw jab from Seniesa. Big swing and a miss from Yokasta there. Seniesa's managing to keep her range as well. There's a little bit of an exchange on the inside there, but nothing big landed. Both ladies managed to cover up. Now Seniesa and Yokasta both trying to take control of the center of the ring. Jab lands from Yokasta. Combination lands from Yokasta. And that's it. End of round number 1. For me, Yokasta probably just edged that round. She looked just a little bit crisper, a little bit smoother. But I didn't see this as the fight was actually in progress, but Yokasta's been cut quite badly over her right eye. It's definitely not the deepest cut that you've ever seen in your life, but it's deep enough where it's bleeding quite profusely. And I think if the fight carries on, that's something to keep an eye on. The cut man's got his work cut out for him here. I don't know if that was caused by a punch or by a head clash. I think it was caused, yeah, it was caused by a head clash, actually. It looks like it was caused by a clash of heads. But it's bleeding enough where it's going to be running into the eye of Yokasta as well. It's not directly above the eye, fortunately, so it's off to the side, which means it's not all going straight into her eye, but some of it will be. So that's actually given Seniesa a little bit of an advantage as well. That cut is bad, Dave. You're right. So if you're not watching it, guys, Seniesa has got an advantage here because Yokasta was cut with a clash of heads. We're underway in round number 2 now. Seniesa comes out swinging. Seniesa's trying to land big combinations. She's using her head movement as well. Yokasta, after getting cut, seems a little bit more tentative, I think, to start round number 2. Seniesa tries to come forward and jab to the body. Yokasta fires back. Seniesa has switched back to an orthodox stance as well. Yokasta manages to find her with the jab. Right hand misses from Yokasta. Jab looks like it missed as well. Seniesa lands a couple of times on the chin. Ever since that cut opened up, Seniesa's looked more confident and she's landed more combinations on Yokasta. Seniesa missed a couple of shots to the body there, but she switched back to southpaw and she managed to connect with a couple of shots out of the southpaw stance. Seniesa's back fighting out of southpaw again. 30 seconds to go in the round as Yokasta comes forward. She's bleeding quite a bit now from that eye. Or rather, just to the right of the eye. Seniesa's, I think, on the whole, getting the better of this round, even though Yokasta is still coming forward. Yokasta's winging her shots in more, though. She's slapping with her punches. And they're not connecting. They're wild, they're slapping, and they're not connecting and doing as much damage to Seniesa. So even though she is letting her hands go, she's not connecting as much. It's that cut, though. It's that cut that's going to need to be monitored. So yeah, if you guys are tuning in here, you're not watching, I'd probably score the fight at this point 1-1. I think Yokasta probably won the first round. Jacob, how are you doing? So you're just in the middle now of the Seniesa Yokasta fight. It's round number 3 about to start. Yokasta, they're putting a very healthy dose of Vaseline over the eye. She's going to need it. That's right. Yoka is cut. She is cut. And like I said, she hasn't looked quite as sharp since. I don't know if that's affected her psychologically as well, but we're getting round number 3 underway now here, guys. Let's see. I have it sort of 1-1 on my scorecard, so let me know how you guys have it scored. But Yokasta needs to try and pull her way back into the fight here. Seniesa letting her hands go quite freely now. Yokasta doesn't want to get dragged into these exchanges. That's Seniesa's domain. Yokasta doesn't want to be doing this if she doesn't have to. First round, Jacob, I thought that Valle won the first round, and I think that Seniesa probably won the second round. That's at least how I would take this one. From my point of view, that's how I see it. But Seniesa has looked better ever since Yokasta got cut. Although Yokasta is having success now, she's coming forward and letting her hands go. But like I say, she wants to be careful of exchanging with Seniesa too much. Yokasta's slapping a little bit with her punches as well, which I think is not going to help because it means that when she connects with Seniesa, those slapping punches aren't going to do as much damage. That's funny. Yeah, I think they have. I don't know if they have a translator on the Australian broadcast. They normally have a translator on the US broadcast, though. I don't have my sound on, but they normally have a translator on. Maybe on the Australian broadcast they don't. They should, though, if they do that. Yeah, that is true. So we've got 10 seconds left in the round now. Both ladies exchanging shots in the middle of the ring. Good exchange here to finish the round. Yokasta's coming forward. Seniesa, just because she doesn't have that cut, looks a little bit more clean. But Yokasta threw some nice shots of her own in the exchange there to end that round. That cut, I will say one thing. It doesn't look like it's opened up much worse than it was when it originally happened. So that's a good thing. Seniesa, though, has power. And if she can keep hitting Yokasta there, that cut's going to open up more. So Yokasta, I will say this, it's a bit weird to say, but it does look to me like when they're putting the Vaseline on the cut of Yokasta, they're doing it in such a way that it looks like it's almost pulling the cut wider apart. I don't know if they're quite doing it properly, but it doesn't look like they're being very gentle with that cut. It looks like they're globbing that Vaseline on very aggressively. I don't know. But we're underway. We're underway in round number 4 now as well. And Seniesa is walking forward, and she is trying her best to just clobber Yokasta. Not everything is landing, but Yokasta is using her jab to try and walk forward. Seniesa is on the back foot, but Seniesa is firing back with bombs. Yokasta's jab looks more sharp for sure. It's landing straight down the middle of on Seniesa rather. Nice uppercut there as well from Yokasta. She missed with an overhand left. Seniesa got out of the way. When Seniesa's on the back foot, when she's on the outside, her jab doesn't look quite as crisp as Valle's. But Seniesa, when she lets her hands go, it looks like she's connecting more with those combinations, those big swinging combinations, whereas Valle probably not connecting. She's missing more when she actually lets her hands go. So the jab has probably been the best punch from Yokasta. Seniesa goes low with a couple of hooks. Yokasta and Seniesa exchanging punches here. 16 seconds left in the round. It's a very close fight, just like I think a lot of you probably expected it to be. It is a close fight. Yokasta got Seniesa up against the ropes, though, at the end. Didn't manage to land anything too damaging, though. And round number 4 comes to a close. Seniesa's corner is telling her that she needs to go to the body more and get on the inside more. And I agree as well, because Seniesa, when she's gone to the body, I think has been a little bit more accurate. I think when she's tried to throw these big shots at the head, she's not connected as much. But Yokasta, if she can keep Seniesa on the outside, Yokasta's jab looks the sharper of the two ladies. A 5-punch combination. Wow, okay. They called for a 5-punch combination in the corner for Yokasta. So ESPN scorecard has Seniesa Estrada winning 3 rounds to 1, by the way. I personally probably gave that first round to Yokasta. But you guys might have scored it differently. The judges also might have scored it differently. We're in round 5 now, by the way. Seniesa is on the outside. Yokasta is trying to find her with her jab. Seniesa is trying to go to the body a little bit more with these big hooks. Seniesa's ability to switch stances as well, I think, is causing Yokasta problems. Seniesa's out of the southpaw stance, but she switches back to the orthodox. And I think that is causing problems for Yokasta as well. It makes her very awkward. She's fighting orthodox now, but she's already switched stances once in this round. Yokasta landed a jab there. Seniesa Couple of nice left hands, though, connected on the chin. Yokasta needs to avoid getting hit clean on the chin like that. Because her punches, even though she landed a couple of times, they're not doing as much damage to Seniesa. She needs to keep her at the end of the jab and maybe move her head a little bit more than what she is doing. But I think the fight is trending in Seniesa's direction just a little bit, to be honest with you guys. So if you're tuning into this one, we're in round number 5, 18 seconds to go in the round. Yokasta is trying her best to walk forward and land some big uppercuts. Both ladies exchanging to end the round, but it's Yokasta who I think gets the better of the exchange. A lot of the punches were slapping more than like hard, straight shots. So I don't think Seniesa took a ton of damage there, but Yokasta probably won that exchange at the end of the round. But Seniesa did good work earlier in the round, so I don't know how you score that one. We're watching Liam Wilson as well, working the mitts in the back. The cut still looks the same, by the way, for Yokasta. So she's looking like she's probably recovered, or rather, it's not like she's recovered, but the cut hasn't gotten any worse, basically. So from her point of view, that's a good thing. I think her corner, in fairness, has actually done a very good job of preventing it from getting worse. They've closed it up nicely in between rounds. All right, guys. So here we go. Round number 6 gets underway. Yokasta coming forward. You can see how that cut got opened up because Yokasta keeps lunging forward in these exchanges, almost with her head coming forwards before her gloves in some instances. And she's come very close both to getting clocked like she did there, but also to another clash of heads. Yokasta managed to land a nice hook there on Seniesa. Seniesa, though, is moving well, actually, on the outside on her back foot. She's using some nice body movement, some nice stance switching, some nice waist movement. Now a nice combination from Seniesa as well. She's getting the best of Yokasta, I think, in this round, in my opinion. Seniesa, it's just that ability to switch stances. It's that fluidity of movement that she has. And now on the outside, she's using some nice waist movement. Yokasta is getting inside from time to time, but she's not landing a ton of effective punches. And Seniesa's being able to counter like she does there. She's also ducking down when she gets on the inside, and it's doing a very good job of meaning that Yokasta can't actually land very much that's effective on the inside. Seniesa does drop her head, though, quite low because she tries to throw these overhand shots like she just did there, and she drops her head quite low. And I think Yokasta could potentially catch her with an uppercut when she comes inside, when she tries to throw one of these overhand bombs and her head goes down quite low. But Yokasta really has been relying primarily on the jab here. Try and cause Seniesa problems. But Seniesa's just looked very fluid and evasive on the back foot in this round. I think this was one of her better rounds defensively for Seniesa. She does a little kind of dance to end the round. She looks very confident, whereas Yokasta looks more flustered, a little bit less in control, a little bit less calm. And the fight is definitely trending in Seniesa's direction from this point. So I think if things keep going like this, then Seniesa is probably trending towards a victory on the scorecards. Neither lady looks like she's been in danger of getting stopped, but it's just starting to look like Seniesa is heading towards potentially a victory on the scorecards. So what do we got, guys, coming up? What's going to happen in this next round? Seniesa, if she can keep using that nice movement on the back foot, then she's going to Seniesa is going to be able to have a comfortable round here, I think, if she can keep moving on the back foot as well as she did in that last round. Seniesa's doing very well here. Seniesa's looked quite impressive as this fight goes on, to be honest with you. Yokasta's trying to walk forward, but she's getting swung off. She's swinging herself off balance, Yokasta, so that when she throws these big punches, they're not connecting, and she's getting out of position, which is making it easier for Seniesa to counter her. Yokasta is just not having enough variety, I think, and not enough punches connecting to actually trouble Seniesa. Not enough to keep her on the outside, and Yokasta is throwing her shots too wide on the inside. I think Yokasta would be better using more uppercuts than she is when things get up close. She's relying too much on these big swinging hooks, and they're not landing. Seniesa with some nice lateral movement and then stepping back in and landing a nice combination on Yokasta. Seniesa's looking good here, though, guys. I got to give her a lot of credit. She's looking good because Yokasta is one of the best in the world, and Seniesa is moving and making her miss. I'm looking very comfortable in there. Seniesa's movement, her stance switching, her getting out of range, like this is all looking very impressive from Seniesa. But she does get tagged there. She does get tagged there by Yokasta at the end of the round. 10 seconds left. Woo! This is a good fight, but Seniesa is leading it, in my opinion, on the scorecards, guys. So we're just seeing as well in between rounds. We've got 3 rounds to go in this one. And Oscar Valdez is also warming up in the back. So that is going to be the main event on this card. Oscar Valdez against Liam Wilson coming up probably in about 30 minutes or less time from now. Giving some Seniesa some instructions in the corner. Seniesa's just looked very calm, cool, collected. I've been impressed with her movement. Yokasta needs to do something for me. Like, it's getting to the point where Yokasta might even need the KO, to be honest with you. But we'll see. But Yokasta might even be getting into the territory where she needs a knockout, and that's not where she wants to be because Seniesa's the power puncher. Now, Yokasta does still have 9 KOs of her own. By the way, we're in round number 8 now, just getting underway. Exchange in the center of the ring here. Yokasta's still trying to walk Seniesa down. Seniesa's on the outside, going to the body, trying to go to the body, and using nice movement to get underneath Yokasta's shots. If Yokasta would let the uppercut go more, I think she would have a chance to catch Seniesa with something. But instead, that body movement from Estrada is being very effective at making Yokasta miss with these big hooks that she keeps trying to throw from the outside. It's getting to the point where Seniesa's movement on the outside is just getting too much for Yokasta. Seniesa is starting to dominate this fight from the outside from my point of view, guys. Nice combination as well there again. Seniesa is getting hit, but Yokasta is not landing the more impactful punches. It's that body movement from Seniesa and the ability to switch as well from offense to defense. That's what's giving Seniesa a big advantage in this fight. Now, she did get clipped with a hook there, but whenever here's the big thing for me. One of the big problems that Yokasta has in this fight, her hooks that she's throwing on the inside, they just haven't been accurate enough. And so even though they look impressive and they've got a lot of torque on them, they're not connecting. And I think she would be better off using, like I say, some uppercuts, because Seniesa is just not getting damaged when they're getting on the inside. Yokasta is just not doing enough effective work. And her jab, unfortunately, isn't finding Seniesa enough. Seniesa's body movement has been real good, guys. 10 seconds left in the round. 2 rounds to go after this one. Yokasta landed a right hand at the end. But Seniesa looks very smooth, and it's her evasiveness and I think the lack of accuracy from Yokasta, which has been the key here. But 2 rounds to go, guys. 2 rounds to go in this one. From my perspective, Yokasta Valle needs to probably at least get a knockdown, if not potentially stop Seniesa Estrada here. Because otherwise, Seniesa is going to be going to the scorecards, and I think she's going to be getting the decision. It's just that movement, that stance switching. Seniesa is just very good. I mean, she's one of the best in the world in the women's boxing divisions, and you can see why here, because she's making Yokasta miss with ease at this point. And Yokasta is a top 10 pound-for-pound fighter on many lists herself, but Seniesa is starting to make this fight look easy. It's starting to turn into a dominant performance from Seniesa Estrada. So round number 9 is underway here, guys. Seniesa is very likely up on the scorecards to the point that Yokasta is having to come out, and she's going to have to sit on her shots. She digs to the body there with a nice hook and connects. Big flurry of shots, but they don't, not enough of them landed from Yokasta. All right. So Seniesa on the outside again. She's waving her arms like a matador, trying to entice a bull to come forward. So essentially, she's clowning Yokasta here. It's a little bit disrespectful, but at the same time, it's made Yokasta come forward recklessly, and Seniesa has actually been able to counter here and land effectively. I mean, Seniesa is in control of this fight now, guys. If you're an Estrada fan, you must be loving what you're seeing because she looks very good here. She's just opening up with her combinations. Yokasta is still coming forward, but there's just not enough effective work coming from Valle. If Seniesa doesn't get stopped here, guys, then she is going to win this one on the scorecards unless there's a bad decision, in my opinion. So Seniesa, nice. 30 seconds left in the round now. Seniesa going to the body. Valle trying to go upstairs to the head. Seniesa connects with a nice hook. Dave, Seniesa's winning, in my opinion. I think Seniesa's probably winning this fight. So Yokasta landed, though, at the end of the round. Seniesa looks like she's wobbling a little bit, but Yokasta is having a good finish to the round. But Yokasta is behind on the scorecards, I'm pretty sure. I'm very surprised. I would be very surprised, rather, if Yokasta was ahead on the scorecards. I'm pretty sure, Dave, that Seniesa is winning. Comfortably, I think. Probably by 4, maybe even 5 rounds. So what's the corner telling Yokasta? Yokasta's corner is telling her she needs to win this round and that she needs to go into a war. But this is the last round, Jacob. This is round number 10. So this is the last round. From my point of view, Seniesa wins the fight if it goes to the scorecards. Yokasta's corner told her she can't give away this round, but I think she needs to get a stoppage here. So this is the last round, Jacob. This is round number 10, and Seniesa is going to win if it goes to points or goes to the scorecards. All right, let's go, guys. Round number 10. This is the last round of the fight. 2 minutes to go. Yokasta needs to land some big bombs. At the very least, she needs to get a knockdown. Seniesa comes out firing. Yokasta lands a nice combination in the middle, but Seniesa's on the back foot. She's making it hard for Yokasta to find her. Yokasta uses the right hand. She connects. Seniesa tries to fire back, but Yokasta's out of range. Seniesa rather, walked into a big shot. Yokasta now, if she can follow up on that. Oh, Yokasta landing again. I think she's got Seniesa hurt a little bit. Seniesa falls forward in the clinch. If Yokasta can just let her hands go, she's got a minute to go. She's wobbling Seniesa a little bit. She's got to let her hands go. This is the last round, guys. Yokasta's got to just let her hands go. She's got to let it all hang out here. If she can do that, there is a chance that she could possibly turn this fight around, because Seniesa looked like she is in trouble here if Yokasta can just land. Senesa's managing to get on the back foot, though, and get out of the way, but Yokasta is unloading on her. This is a good round if you're a fan of Yokasta, but I don't know if it's going to be enough unless she can get the stoppage, because Senesa's managing to hold on in the clinches. That cut is still opening up. Yokasta's slapping punches are not helping as well. She just connected with a big right. But, I mean, it's frustrating watching, because if she would just turn some of these shots that are clipping the outside into landing solid punches, that's it, guys. A big exchange to end the fight. But if Yokasta won that round, which I believe she did, I don't think it's going to be enough to win the fight from my point of view. So the fight is over, guys. We're still waiting on the decision from the judges. But from my point of view, Seniesa is probably going to win this fight unless it goes to a draw. I would be surprised if it goes to a draw, but I would be even more surprised if Yokasta gets the judge's decision. I think Yokasta, unfortunately, saved her best round for the end of the fight. I think if she had fought like that a little bit sooner, then she could have had a chance to turn things around. But unfortunately, Yokasta, her best round was probably the first round and then maybe the last round. And then in between, there was some serious portions of domination from Seniesa. And also it was the visuals as well. Like when Seniesa was doing her matador and she was waving her arms like she was actually trying to lure Yokasta in like a bull. It made it look like she was clowning her a little bit. And subconsciously, I think that will also affect the judges. I mean, if this is accurate, and these punch stats are not always accurate, Seniesa officially landed only one more power punch than Yokasta. But I don't know if that's accurate. I don't know. We'll see. From my point of view, Seniesa was more accurate in the fight. But I think it's going to be either a Seniesa win or it's going to be a draw. I don't think Yokasta did enough to win the fight on points, but let's see. I think it is not impossible that we get a draw in this fight. All right, guys, here we go. The official announcement of the scorecards. So here's the decision, guys. All right. I'll read it out if you guys are not watching the fight, or I'll listen in and then repeat it for you guys if you're not watching in. So we go to the scorecards. All right. Seniesa. All right, 3 judges. 97, 93 from all 3 judges. Okay, so that's going to be Seniesa, I think. Unanimous decision, 97-93 from all 3 judges. Who is it? It's Seniesa. Okay. So Seniesa won a unanimous decision on the scorecards. All 3 judges scoring it 97-93 in favor of Estrada. I think that's probably a fair result. Seniesa wins the fight. She becomes the first ever women's undisputed minimum weight champion in history. They're lifting up the belts. Seniesa will be taking home all of the silverware. It was a good fight, but I believe Seniesa was the deserved winner in this one. Seniesa deserved to win this fight. They can't even find enough space for all of the belts. Seniesa has now 5 belts, including the Ring Magazine. The official stats, by the way, had the punches very close. 102. This is not power punches, by the way. This is total shots. 102 to 99, which is very, very close. I thought the fight was a little bit less close than that, but there we go. Seniesa deserved to win this fight, in my opinion. I think Yokasta just unfortunately saved her best round until the last round. But Seniesa showed that she was the better boxer, at least on this night. She is the deserved winner from my point of view. What did you guys think? That's true, Dave. She can barely stand with all the belts. There's 5 belts. Shows you how many belts there are in boxing. But sounds like there's a lot of whistling and booing coming from the crowd. To be honest, I'm surprised. I thought Seniesa would be the favorite, but it sounds like a lot of the crowd is actually booing. The crowd is booing. It sounds like I can't tell. It's hard to tell on TV, but it sounds like the crowd is actually booing Seniesa. Now there's cheers. Now they're interviewing Yokasta as well, so I'll just see what she has to say. And then we're going to get into the main event, guys. Oscar Valdez against Liam Wilson. Can Liam Wilson stop Oscar Valdez? That, to me, is the interesting question because nobody's done it before, but he almost stopped Navarrete. So I don't know. And Valdez, you know, he's taken quite a few beatings recently. So I don't know. Yokasta, what did she say in her post-fight interview? So Yokasta said she felt like the headbutt from Seniesa was intentional. She said that it was an intentional headbutt. Yokasta feels that Seniesa headbutted her on purpose. They're interviewing Gloria Alvarado as well. Oh, interesting. Gloria Alvarado is saying that Seniesa lost the fight. She's saying that there should be a rematch. She's saying that Seniesa is afraid of the rematch. Gloria is Gloria Alvarado, the trainer of Yokasta Valle, is saying that essentially Yokasta, well, no, not essentially. She said that Yokasta won the fight, that she was essentially, Seniesa didn't deserve to win. Yeah, interesting. She said that there should be a rematch, but that Seniesa won't take it. I have to be honest and say, from my point of view, I felt like Seniesa Estrada was the deserved winner. But it seems like there was legitimate beef, rivalry, whatever, between the camps. But Gloria Alvarado, I think, is understandably upset because the decision didn't go their way. I would still watch a rematch of this fight, but they were very upset. Yeah, the fans think robbery, but I didn't think so. I agree, Dave. I was surprised as well that I know that they were upset that they lost, but I was surprised as well that Yokasta's corner was so adamant that they won the fight. I think maybe they could have argued for even a draw would have been more plausible, but I don't think that Yokasta won. It's just my opinion. So Oscar Valdez, against Liam Wilson coming up next. It's going to be a very interesting fight because I think the future of Oscar Valdez's career is really on the line here, because if he wins this fight and he looks good, then I'm sure we will see him again. But if he doesn't look good, if he takes another beating like he did in his last fight, even if he wins, but takes a lot of shots, gets his face really beaten up, I mean, he's probably going to at that point be questioning how many more of these wars do I really want to be in. And the other thing is that we're talking about one of the best chins out there in Oscar Valdez, but there's going to be a point at which his chin cracks, because it happens to everyone. Nobody really has an iron chin if you get hit enough over a long enough period of time, and if you're in these wars. And the other thing which I've noticed in Valdez's last couple of fights is that his footwork has slowed down, and he's very open to getting hit, especially with the jab. And that's not good, because when you have footwork that's slowed down and you're getting hit with the jab almost at will, your chin is going to get tested more and more, and it eventually is going to crack. And I don't know if this is going to be the fight where that happens, but I think Liam Wilson obviously had the power to at least put Navarrete down. He didn't get the stoppage, but I mean, there was controversy around that because some people felt that Navarrete spit his mouth guard out, that maybe the referee should have not given him that extra bit of time. You know, whatever the case may be, the result of the fight is what it is. But the point is that Liam Wilson probably has the power to hurt Oscar Valdez. And Oscar Valdez, I suspect, will also have the power to hurt Liam Wilson. So either way, this is going to be a very interesting, very entertaining fight. But obviously, Liam Wilson here, I guess, has more to gain by winning this one, in the sense that he would have a victory, especially if he somehow got a stoppage victory over a legend like Oscar Valdez. Everything in boxing is a robbery. That's right. There are some fights which are close, which I would not class as robbery, but there are some fights that are genuinely, the decisions are, I don't know. I genuinely think, like, what are they watching? But this was not one of them. The worst decision I've seen in a women's fight that I can remember recently was the Sandy Ryan McCaskill fight. I've mentioned this a few times, but that fight was incomprehensible to me, how the judge had McCaskill winning that one. And this, in my opinion, was not as egregious as that. I thought that Seniesa was the deserved winner. I don't feel that it was a poor decision. I think it was the right decision. And I don't think even it was a draw, in all honesty. So we're 6 minutes away from Oscar Valdez against Liam Wilson in the main event. I mean, he has so much more experience than Liam Wilson does. He has double the amount of KOs that Liam Wilson even has professional fights. But here's the thing. Cumulative punishment is not something that you want to be taking. And I know that the fans love Oscar Valdez for these wars. I know that's what people respect him for. But I don't know. At the same time, it adds up. It does add up. And, you know, the reality is he's lost 2 of his last 3. Now, admittedly, Shakur and Navarrete are, you know, some of the top or the top guys around this weight class. So it's not like he's losing to nobodies, but he still has lost 2 out of his last 3 fights. And he lost them fairly comprehensively as well, in my opinion. It wasn't just that he lost. It was that he lost those fights fairly comprehensively. And he does have that win in the middle as well, but he has 2 fairly comprehensive losses. And the last time as well that he had a KO victory was a couple of years ago as well. So we'll see. Liam Wilson, though, I mean, in fairness, he also has a loss recently as well. I mean, they both lost to Navarrete. And then Liam Wilson's last 2 fights were against respectfully lower level opposition in the division, his last 2 wins as well. So we'll see. It's going to be an interesting fight. And Valdez has that power. He's got that those heavy hands. He's tough. He's got experience. He's a big favorite in this fight, I do believe. I believe Valdez was a fairly substantial favorite in this fight, if I'm not mistaken. But Liam Wilson, I do believe, is the live underdog in this fight. Liam Wilson, though, wants to actually win this fight. He doesn't just want to be his reputation that he nearly beat Navarrete. Yeah, he does, the sombrero. If you can't see it, what Dave's talking about is that Liam Wilson is actually wearing a sombrero to the ring. Wilson for $5 to win, and to win on points at like $8. Okay. I'm kind of rooting for Wilson here because he's the underdog. Yeah, Myth Friend here. Oshaki Foster said the same thing earlier on, actually. They were asking him, they were interviewing Oshaki Foster, and he said that he would put Cordina above both of these guys as well. It depends on also what kind of performances I think they put in here. But, yeah, I mean, Oscar Valdez, he hasn't lost the fight yet. We don't even know what he's going to look like here. But I will say I give Liam Wilson a better chance based on how Oscar Valdez has looked recently. I think because of that, Liam Wilson is going to be more confident. Let's be honest. I'm trying to beat around the bush a little bit, but I don't think Oscar Valdez looked that good against Navarrete. I think he pretty much got dominated, and I didn't really have the fight that close. Truthfully, I thought that the 2 scorecards which had it quite wide were more accurate. There was one scorecard, if I remember correctly, that had it a little bit closer. I thought it was quite wide, that fight. But Oscar Valdez, the thing with Oscar Valdez is that I do believe he will probably also get the benefit of the doubt if the fight goes to the scorecards. I suspect. So we're probably about 10 minutes away from the actual opening bell of this fight, guys. If you are tuning in, I appreciate you all for watching. It's a bit of a later than usual one, this one. We're almost at midnight on the East Coast. Valdez, I will say I've been impressed with him in the pre-fight interviews. He sounds like he mentally wants to be here. He wants to win this fight. It doesn't seem like he's just doing it for payday. Like, it seems like his heart is still very much in it, Valdez. The question is going to be whether he's still there physically, but mentally, it seems like Valdez is still focused. He's still ready to go. Yeah, but if they keep Mithrandir, they keep showing just that just the knockdown over and over again. So that if they just show that over and over again, then it makes the whole fight look better, right? But I mean, yeah, it's true. Liam Wilson, well, I mean, he lost as well, so. But yeah, Valdez at his best, I would probably pick to win. The reason I'm kind of have some doubts about it is more, as you say, Mithrandir, because Oscar Valdez, I think, it looks like he's slowing down a little bit physically. All right. And we're going to see also, so we're just getting ready for the main event to get underway here, guys. If you are tuning in, the main event is just getting underway in moments. Oscar Valdez is making his ring walk here. He is looking very focused, Oscar Valdez. He only has the 2 losses in his career still, by the way. But he is he's making his walk to the ring here. He's looking very focused, looking very determined. The crowd is looking very into him as well. He's going to get, I think, a very good reception. He is getting a very good reception from the crowd. And the winner of this fight is going to be probably in line for a title shot. So Valdez, if he wins this one, is going to get, presumably at some stage, at least one more shot at becoming a full world champion. Because this is not a full world title. This is an interim title here. But Valdez will get his shot at the full world title, as will Liam Wilson if he wins this one. So just getting the actual final introductions underway. Both fighters are in the ring. Just reading out the announcement of the sponsors. Liam Wilson looks good as well. But Oscar Valdez looks very confident. I'm going to call it now based on the demeanor of both fighters. I'm going to say Oscar Valdez wins this fight. So that's going to be my final prediction for this one. I'm going to go with Oscar Valdez to win this fight. They robbed Yoke. Not from my point of view, unfortunately. Not from my point of view, unfortunately. I do think Seniesa won the fight. Yes, that is true, actually. Mithrandir. Nobody is talking about that fight. And it's going to be one which I will be looking forward to for sure. I will definitely be on stream for that one. Bam against Sonny was a good fight. And I favored Bam to win that one, truthfully. So I wasn't surprised when he did. But Bam against Juan Francisco Estrada, that will be a good one. I'm going to be very excited to watch that. It was a very good fight. It was a very good fight. In my point of view, from my point of view, though, it wasn't a robbery. 10 seconds out. You're for Liam Wilson. So who's here? Who in the chat is for Liam and who's for Valdez? I probably like Liam Wilson to win, honestly, but I'm picking Valdez to win. But I would prefer Liam Wilson to win just because he's the underdog and probably he has more to gain. Valdez, Wilson. What are you guys here for? Valdez, Wilson. The odds have shortened just a little bit. Valdez was a minus 400 favorite, at least according to the odds that I saw, and he's now minus 375. So the odds have tightened just slightly. Yeah, I like Liam Wilson as well. I like, and there's nothing against Valdez. I just like Liam Wilson. Mr. Rainier, you like both? You have to respect Valdez. I will say that for sure. Okay, guys. That's all out of the way now. Does anyone think seriously in the chat that Valdez is going to get stopped in this fight? Does anyone have Liam Wilson winning by KO? That would be something if that was to happen. Liam Wilson, I think, if he was to stop Valdez, would really make a name for himself. Does anyone actually have Liam Wilson winning by KO? Let's see. All right, guys. We are getting ready to get this one underway. Oscar Valdez and Liam Wilson. We are seconds away from the opening bell. There we go. The opening bell has rung. Round number 1 is underway. Liam Wilson, Oscar Valdez. Action is taking place in the center of the ring. Liam Wilson using his jab, pumping that jab out there. Oscar Valdez staying on the outside. He's being kept at the end of the jab so far, but he's trying to get through with a jab of his own. Nice jabs and an uppercut landed from Liam Wilson. Oscar Valdez, you can see he's got some real snap on his punches, though. Liam Wilson landing on the chin of Valdez clean with the jab. That's the problem that Oscar Valdez had in his last couple of fights as well. He was just getting hit too much through his guard with the jab, in my opinion. Liam Wilson doing well so far, though. He's managing to back Valdez up behind the jab. Valdez now firing back with a nice hook to the body. But Liam Wilson is looking strong in this round. He's walking Valdez down. Valdez is already marked up around his face on the right-hand side, where Liam Wilson is hitting him with the jab. It looks like there's already some swelling going on under the eye of Valdez from all of those jabs that he's been eating. He just took a nice left hook as well from Liam Wilson. Oscar's backed up against the ropes. Right hand lands. Straight right lands. Jab. Again, Oscar tries to go up top with a big hook. He misses. Comes back to the body. That connects. Jab snapping through as well from Valdez. But Liam Wilson so far looking very confident. He's walking through those big shots from Oscar. If you're rooting for Liam Wilson, I think you have to be liking what you're seeing here, because he's walking Oscar Valdez down. He's landing with both his jab and his right hand, and he's not eating a ton of counters in the process. The Valdez now trying to work the head and the body. Body shot lands from Oscar. Oscar has already slowed down a little bit just in this round, and that's not good. Clinch now with 20 seconds left in the round. Both fighters separated by the referee. Immediately a body shot landed from Liam Wilson with Oscar Valdez up against the ropes. Oscar manages to push his way back to the center of the ring. But Liam Wilson is just getting through far too easily. And this is turning into a dominant Liam Wilson round. It's going to end in the clinches, but from my perspective, that was a clear win for Liam Wilson. And if that's an indication of what we're going to get for the rest of the fight, Liam Wilson is looking very good so far, guys. What did you guys think of that first round? Yeah, I think the women's fight should have been the main event, honestly, on merit. Honestly. 10 seconds out. Respect to anyone that steps in a room. Yep. Liam, I assume you mean Liam has to win by KO. I mean, well, if he keeps winning with dominant rounds like that, I will say it will be hard to disagree with him winning on the scorecards. The women probably should have been the main event. I agree. Seconds out, Liam has put on a lot of upper body muscle. He looks good. I mean, he looks more powerful. Dave, I agree. I thought Liam won that round as well. 10 seconds out, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, it's weird calling it on my own because when they do it on the broadcast, they obviously have a play-by-play and a color commentator, but I appreciate that. So I'm trying my best to do both roles. Round number 2 is underway here, guys. Liam Wilson, same deal. He's coming forward behind the jab, and it's just causing Oscar Valdez a lot of problems, and it's backing him up. That right hand just landed twice as well, clean on the chin of Oscar Valdez from Liam Wilson. Now, Oscar's as tough as they come, so I don't think he's going to get stopped anytime soon. But again, another right hand lands. It's punches that are accumulating points as well. I remember some of you guys were saying in the chat that Liam is going to come out strong in the early rounds and then Oscar might start to take over. But so far, Liam has looked very strong. And it's been his jab and his ability to just land at will that's been giving Oscar problems. He counters, Oscar does, with a hook that connects, a left hook that connects. But Liam is just firing the straight rights and the jab straight through the guard. And Oscar Valdez, he's shaking his head every time he gets hit. Oscar comes back now, and he lands a couple of big hooks and a jab of his own. But Liam Wilson's showing some good head movement as well. He slipped a jab there. But he's been busted up on the nose, Liam Wilson. So Oscar's connected enough to open up Liam's nose. It's not bleeding massively, but it is bleeding. Liam now, he's letting his hands go and exchanging. Oscar's firing back, though. Oscar is not backing down whatsoever. Oscar Valdez is a tough man, as tough as they come, and he delivers a body shot to Liam Wilson and another upstairs to the head. But Liam is just jabbing to the body and to the head of Oscar Valdez. Oscar needs to stop eating these jabs for breakfast, and he's going to have a lot more success. But credit to Liam. Oscar now comes forward and he backs Liam up against the ropes. Liam is going to have to fight his way out here as Oscar snaps a nice hook. Liam, though, he doesn't really force Liam onto the ropes and keep him there. He let Liam get off the ropes too easily. And now Liam Wilson is just using that jab. It's that jab and the straight right hand. It's nothing super complicated. But Valdez, unfortunately, he's just standing stationary with his feet directly in front of Liam Wilson, and it's just meaning his guard is getting pierced far too easily. So, guys, Liam Wilson, from my point of view, probably put another round in the bank here as round number 2 comes to a close. Faces in the crowd of the Valdez fans looking a little bit concerned as Liam Wilson is getting some work done on his nose there. What did you guys think of that round? I think that was probably another Wilson round. Thank you, Greg. I appreciate that. The compliment on the commentary. How did you guys see that last round? I think Williams. Who's Williams? I'm tired. It's almost midnight. Wilson. Not Williams. I have no idea. What? Ignore me. What am I talking about? I think that was another Wilson round. Dave, yeah, I think he's looking good. You're right. He needs to keep his distance. I think that's the key because Valdez, his territory is going to be when he can land these big clubbing shots on the inside. And it looks to me like Liam Wilson can keep his distance behind his jab very effectively as long as he just doesn't get caught standing still, keeping his feet still as well. Oscar Valdez is, so by the way, so we're underway in round number 3 here. Now, Oscar Valdez is trying to use his jab a little bit more, trying to take back some of this real estate. But Liam Wilson is not giving ground. He's just firing his jab. Oscar Valdez fires back. Liam Wilson peppering Valdez with these 1-2s. He pushes Valdez up against the ropes. Valdez can absorb a lot of punishment, though, and he comes firing back with some big hooks. See, this is where Liam Wilson doesn't want to be. When Valdez keeps firing in these big hooks and uppercuts, I think Liam Wilson needs to get on his back foot and recreate the distance, because Oscar Valdez going to the body with this vicious body attack, that's where Liam Wilson's going to have problems as he gets hit with a hook there. If Oscar Valdez can work the body and slow Liam Wilson down and stop the movement and stop his ability to just pepper him with the jab, that's where Oscar Valdez is going to be able to turn this fight around. So Liam Wilson, he's using his 1-2s, he's using his movement to keep out of range, but he needs to not get drawn into exchanges on the inside where he's getting lit up to the body like he has done a couple of times in this round. Another nice jab from Liam Wilson. Misses with the right hand, misses with an uppercut. Valdez comes back now. Valdez landing a nice couple of hooks. Liam Wilson going with the 1-2, but you don't want to be exchanging these vicious hooks of Valdez for a 1-2 because it's not as powerful a punch. Wilson's 1-2 is not as strong as Valdez's hooks and uppercuts to the body. So now we're getting into a situation where they're exchanging punches on the inside up close, like right here. Valdez is landing hooks and uppercuts to the body, big, powerful shots, whereas Liam Wilson is landing the same number of punches, but they're right hands and jabs, so they don't have as much power on them. And when the punch output is equal and the accuracy is about the same, that's where Oscar Valdez is going to have the advantage, especially when he's going to the body. And Liam Wilson just got hit there hard behind the jab of Valdez. And Liam Wilson now is the one who's actually got more damage to his face. But Valdez is, Valdez took a big shot there, a big right hand. He shook his head to say it didn't hurt, which probably means that it did. Liam Wilson managed to connect with a big shot from Valdez. Valdez is tough. He's extremely tough. His legs didn't go, but I think that shot did hurt him. It did affect him. Liam Wilson does look more muscular to me in his upper body, like across his upper back and his shoulders, than he did in his last fight. And he gets in Valdez's face to end the round there. Valdez his legs didn't buckle, but he did get hit hard at the end of that round, and you could tell that he felt it, even though he didn't go down or even have his legs buckle, but you could tell that he felt it for sure. So far, guys, this has been an impressive performance from Liam Wilson, but there were just some signs in that third round that he was getting hit a little bit more with the powerful body work from Valdez. Navarrete versus Berinchek on the 18th. So that's going to be interesting because that's going to be going up. Okay, so that's going to make it's going to be a long day of streaming for me, because on the 18th, we've obviously got the undisputed fight between Tyson Fury and Usyk. And then now we have that fight as well, Navarrete against Berinchek in the evening. So that's going to be a long day of streaming. But hey, I'm looking forward to it. So round number 4 is underway. Valdez coming out strong with these big power shots. Liam Wilson backing him up behind the jab, though. Valdez managing to clinch and hang on while Liam Wilson peppers him with shots. Woo. Valdez now lucky to avoid some big uppercuts, but he does avoid them. He takes a couple of smaller uppercuts. Liam Wilson, though, he's trying to now fight Valdez on the inside, and I think that's a mistake. I think he wants to maintain his distance, use his jab. Valdez fires back with a left hook. Valdez on these inside exchanges, because he's so tough. I will say, I don't think the chin of Valdez has gone. I was saying before the fight, nice uppercut lands from Valdez as well. Liam comes firing back. He tries to work the body. Valdez landing some hooks to the head. Liam Wilson does not want to get caught on these inside exchanges. He doesn't want to be fighting on the inside. I think his movement, his jab, he can stay on the outside. He's landing some nice uppercuts here, but Valdez is winning these inside exchanges, and I don't think that's where Liam Wilson wants to be. It looks like a low blow just landed as well. It looks like Valdez was complaining about a low blow. Ooh. It did look like it was a little bit low, I'll be honest. That did look like it was a low blow, but the referee said it was on the belt line. It did look like it was a little bit low. Valdez now being backed into the red corner. But Liam Wilson is leaning in close and getting his head snapped back with about 4 consecutive jabs from Oscar Valdez. Both fighters starting to look a little bit tired, which is understandable considering the fight is being fought at a very fast pace. Both guys letting their hands go. This has been a very entertaining fight. Both guys showing a lot of heart. I mean, what do you expect from a fight with Oscar Valdez? But Liam Wilson is going toe-to-toe with Valdez here. Not necessarily the best idea. Valdez is complaining again, looking at the referee, complaining again about another low blow. Liam Wilson trying to exchange on the inside. He's trying to work the body, and that's where these shots that are hitting Valdez and that he's complaining about that they're low, that they're below the belt. It's because Liam Wilson is trying to exchange on the inside. Again, another shot landed. It looked like it landed either on the liver or just below the belt line of Valdez. He shakes his head again. Eddie Reynoso is telling him in the corner, telling Valdez in the corner, if he hits you low, hit him back with a low blow. But Valdez, I think despite the fact that he shook his head, I do think those shots bothered him. And I mean, they would have bothered me too. But so I'm not criticizing him. I'm just saying that they did bother him. And I think he was wobbled a little bit by those shots. It was a closer round, Dave. I agree. Myth Randier, you got Wilson winning it. Yeah, I think so. But that was a closer round. Liam's got to stop banging on the inside. Dave, I agree completely. I agree with you. I think that Wilson is looking really tough, but I don't know why he's trying to exchange on the inside like that. Dave, I agree. Liam is looking great when he's not trying to stand right up close and exchange. Now, Oscar is actually, so we're underway in round number 5 here. Now, Oscar is actually managing to connect with his jab a little bit. And when he does, Liam is getting hit. He's keeping his hands a little bit lower than I would like. Oscar's being able to connect with the jab. Liam's walking forward, but it looks like Oscar is doing the more damage when he actually gets, or when Liam actually gets in range. Liam can win this fight. I just think he needs to be smart and not try and maybe overly commit to getting the knockout. I don't know if that's what he's trying to do. But I will say, again, Oscar Valdez's chin is holding up. So Liam now, like he's doing here, using his jab, that's smart. Using his jab, keeping Oscar against the ropes. But he just did something there, which I liked, which was he got Oscar to back up, and then he backed off to find his range again rather than come rushing in, because that's something that Oscar Valdez has been doing. He's been springing off the ropes and then catching Liam with counters. So Liam, if he just sticks with his jab, doesn't come in with his head and his chin hanging out like he just did there, because Valdez has got a massive advantage in terms of experience. So if Liam Wilson just comes in forward like he is there with his chin hanging out a little bit, that's going to give Valdez an easy chance of hitting him. But Liam Wilson here is looking sharp when he's on the outside, like he is there. And he misses with a nice uppercut, but he gets Valdez trapped up against the ropes, and Valdez comes firing back. Valdez, whenever it looks like he's cornered against the ropes, he manages to come firing back. He manages to fight his way out of the corner. And I think Liam Wilson here, if he will just let him sit on the ropes, not try and come in and fight him on the inside, just do what he's doing here. Jab, 1-2. It looks like he's got the longer arms. It looks like he can keep the distance. Valdez is missing from the outside. Liam Wilson just needs to fight like this. Just stay behind his jab. Valdez is trying to reach him with his own jab. And then back off. Liam Wilson doesn't need to be lunging in like that. I think he just jab, 1-2, back off. Jab, 1-2, back off. And not any of these inside exchanges. But Oscar is luring him in. I think Liam here, whenever he gets Oscar trapped up against the ropes, he then tries to come in. Ooh, that one looked like it landed low as well. I think Oscar's eaten quite a few low blows. I think that one wobbled him a little bit as well. At the end of the round, Oscar got hit low again. At the end of the round, he's eaten quite a few low blows, to be honest. They're telling Liam Wilson to target the body. But they're telling Liam Wilson to work the body of Valdez. But I think when you're facing Oscar, and from what I've seen in this fight, based on how his chin looks like it's holding up, rather than trying to slow him down and go for the knockout and risk getting into his domain, his comfort zone, which is on the inside, and exchanging, I think just accept that you can't maybe get him out of there. Just stay on the outside. Liam Wilson could probably comfortably win on points if he would do that. Myth Randir, I agree. Stop banging with a banger to show how tough you are. Just win the fight. That's exactly it. Dave, commentators saying Wilson is behind. Well, I will be honest with you and say I do think that if it's close, Wilson will lose. Even if he, maybe we don't think that he did lose. I do think he probably has to win a clear decision in order to actually win the fight, unfortunately. I think if it's close, meaning that if he wins it by a round, 2 rounds, maybe even 3 rounds, then I do think that Valdez will probably get as much of a benefit of the doubt as he possibly can. So anyway, we're in round number 6, guys. Oscar Valdez, Liam Wilson. Liam is doing a good job here keeping Oscar on the end of his jab. But he's leaning forward. In these exchanges, Liam is trying to go to the body of Valdez. But what's happening is Valdez is actually working Liam over while Liam is covering up. And Oscar is landing hooks. He's landing uppercuts. Liam is trying to get these uppercuts to land on Valdez, but he doesn't have as much power. Liam is landing, but on the inside, he's getting outlanded, and Valdez has more power. He's got heavier hands. Valdez just lands another uppercut and another body shot. Liam Wilson is getting out-exchanged here, no question about it. And this is exactly the kind of thing he doesn't need to be doing. Now, he's got Valdez back. He's landing clean with a couple of right hands from distance, a jab as well. This is better. This is more what Liam Wilson needs to be doing. As he snaps forward, a jab, another right hand. Oscar Valdez is having to reach in. See, this is where Liam Wilson can use the uppercut. When Oscar Valdez comes lunging in from the outside. But trying to walk in and exchange with him when you don't have as much power, when your hands aren't as heavy, and when your combinations aren't as fast, I just don't see the sense in it. I don't think proving how tough he is by losing the fight is really the best approach here. Because Liam gets Oscar. He's got Oscar trapped up against the ropes now, but Oscar's goading him forward. This is, in my opinion, a deliberate tactic that Oscar is using when he gets back up against the ropes to try and encourage Liam to come on the inside against him. 16 seconds left in the round now. Liam's coming forward. And he's getting beaten to the punch by Oscar. Now he lands a nice jab. Another jab lands from Liam Wilson. A right hand lands. 3 nice shots landing clean to end the round. If Liam Wilson would just stop exchanging, he'd be winning this fight comfortably, in my opinion. Let's see what the corner has to say. What does the corner of Oscar Valdez have to say? Eddie Reynoso, also the trainer of Canelo as well. What's he saying? Close your guard. Don't just stand. Yeah. Okay. So Eddie Reynoso is telling Oscar Valdez exactly what I'm thinking as well, which is that Oscar is dominating the fight on the inside. So Eddie Reynoso is telling Oscar Valdez quite correctly that he needs the fight to take place on the inside, and I agree. And what he's saying is that when Oscar stands on the outside, when he tries to stand at range, then it's allowing Liam Wilson to dominate the fight with his jab. And the punch that Eddie Reynoso was referring to specifically was the straight right hand. You see, at that distance, it's Liam's fight all day long. But on the inside, that's where Oscar Valdez has the advantage. And that's where Liam Wilson is actually giving him a chance here. So round number 7 is underway. And Liam is coming out and exchanging, and he's getting clipped with shots now. And he's got to be careful here because Valdez is landing some big hooks. I think Liam Wilson, unfortunately, is showing too much heart for his own good. Unfortunately, he's trying to prove, and it's admirable, don't get me wrong, but he's trying to prove how tough he is against a very, very exceptionally tough man. But it's somebody that Liam Wilson is capable of outboxing. And now Liam is, I think, tiring a little bit. And Oscar is managing to actually hit him from range. Liam is now behind the jab. Much better from him. Nice triple jab landing from Liam Wilson. Liam out of the southpaw stance. Another jab, 2 jabs and a left hand rather from Liam Wilson. He misses with an uppercut, but he lands a left. This is better from Liam. He's keeping the fight at distance. This is what he needs to do. If he does this, that's exactly it from him. This is a much better section from Liam Wilson. Much better from him on the outside. Big swing and a miss from Oscar with a left hook. Straight right from Oscar connects, but he's having to reach from distance. Liam walking him down. Straight right lands, and another straight right lands from Oscar Valdez. Liam got clipped on the chin hard by Oscar. Oscar now firing back. He's unloading. Liam Wilson is in trouble here. He's getting hit clean. He is going to go down. The referee is going to stop this fight if Liam Wilson doesn't cover up and defend here. He is getting wobbled all over the place. Tremendous heart from Oscar Valdez and from Liam Wilson. But Liam Wilson was wobbled all over the place right there, and he is now going back to the inside. This is a big mistake, in my opinion. Oscar is now unloading with these hooks. Liam Wilson is in serious trouble. His head is being pushed down. Oscar is unloading to the body. Liam is not looking good here, guys. There's 20 seconds left in the round. Oscar is firing back. Liam Wilson is in big trouble here. And the fight is stopped. The referee stepped in to stop the fight. And Liam Wilson, unfortunately, guys, if you were rooting for him, and I admit I did want him to win this fight, he was stopped by Oscar Valdez in round number 7. He was stopped on his feet. He didn't actually go down. The referee stepped in to avoid Oscar Valdez from dishing out any more punishment to Liam Wilson. But Liam took a lot of shots. Liam showed a lot of heart in this fight. Liam has got his head in his hand, or rather he's got his head down, leaning against the ropes in the corner. Guys, I have to tell you, I thought Liam had the ability to win this fight. I think he had the ability to win this fight on points. I think the first few rounds and then the whole rest of the fight showed that when he used his jab and his 1-2, he was causing Oscar Valdez a lot of problems. And I believe from my point of view, if he had stuck to that game plan more consistently from the outside, I believe he probably would have been able to have a very good chance of beating Oscar on points. Oscar, on the other hand, showed a ton of heart. I was wrong. I said beforehand, maybe his toughness, or rather his chin, isn't there anymore. Well, it certainly is. Oscar Valdez is a real warrior, as is Liam Wilson. But unfortunately, I think Liam got his game plan wrong, his tactics wrong. He tried to bang with a banger, as you said, Mithrandir, and it was a big mistake. And Oscar Valdez won the fight. That was a very impressive performance from Liam Wilson early on. But Oscar Valdez, in the end, dominated the fight. Liam, Dave, I agree with you. So I'm just a little bit mystified. Liam did not fight Mithrandir. It was it was very exciting. But Dave, I agree. Wilson wanted a war instead of the win. That is a very good way of summing it up. But unfortunately, he did get a war. You said it, Mithrandir. Don't bang with a banger. And I agree. Wilson was winning the early rounds. That was a real shame if you were rooting for him. He had the ability to win this fight. He had the ability to outpoint Oscar Valdez to the point where even Eddie Reynoso, Oscar's trainer, was saying that they needed to be very careful of being on the outside. They needed to be careful of the 1-2. Unfortunately, the game plan just wasn't right. Liam Wilson was too tough for his own good. And unfortunately, from his point of view, Oscar Valdez is being announced as the winner. He's the WBO interim champion. And Oscar Valdez showed a tremendous amount of heart. Oscar Valdez is very emotional after the fight. He's in tears that he's won this belt. So in that sense, you have to be happy for him because he wanted to win this fight very badly. And truthfully, Oscar won this fight on heart more than anything else. I mean, he is the definition of a fighter. He wanted to win this fight. He wanted to win it so badly that even when he was getting in big trouble skill-wise, Oscar Valdez, so it's interesting. After the fight, Liam Wilson looks very down, very despondent. And Oscar Valdez is actually trying to pick him up. He's telling him, please. He's telling Liam Wilson not to give up. And Liam Wilson looks very, very down. But Oscar Valdez, I'll give him a lot of credit here. Oscar Valdez is trying his best to pick Liam Wilson up, actually, guys. He's trying his best to basically tell Liam Wilson not to give up. Dave, I agree. Congrats to Valdez. Valdez has my respect as well. Thank you. I appreciate that. 10 seconds out. The decision was fair, yes. I appreciate that, guys, very much. So, Oscar Valdez, I mean, what can you say about him? He's a true fighter and a true sportsman. And, I mean, what can you say? You have to, I think, you really can't dislike Oscar Valdez, honestly. I mean, he's just got so much heart. He's got so much determination. He was trying to pick Oscar Valdez up, or rather Liam Wilson up after the fight. You just have to have a ton of respect for Oscar Valdez. Oscar Valdez really is a legend. He deserves a lot of respect. And I mean, what can you say about it, guys? That was impressive. 10 seconds out. I agree. Dave, I appreciate that as well. Thank you. I am absolutely doing the Tim card as well. I will be doing the whole thing. So I need to double check whatever the times are. But yeah, we'll be doing that one from the time it starts all the way up into the end. So I'll be doing the whole card for Tim Tszyu tomorrow. Looking forward to that one a lot. I'm rooting for Tim Tszyu to win that one. I really like Tim Tszyu. I'm horribly biased about that one. I admit it. So, you know, what can I say? I like Tim Tszyu a lot. I want him to win the fight. But I'm looking forward to the whole card. Looking forward to Pitbull against Rolly. Tim Tszyu is going to win. He's great. And, yeah, I'll be covering the whole thing, though. I appreciate that, Mithra India. Thank you guys for tuning in. See you guys all for the Tim card. So I will switch it off now. It's late, so I will let you guys all get out of here. But I appreciate you guys all for watching. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Mithra India. Thank you, 10 Seconds Out. Thank you, everyone else who's tuned in. I appreciate all of you guys. And like I say, I'll be here tomorrow for Tim Tszyu. Big win from the Soul Taker. So I will see you guys all tomorrow. All right. Peace out.